How are we all feeling? How are we doing? Are we okay? Have we sort of like come back from yesterday? Have we sort of like grounded ourselves? Or just taken some time to absorb all the information? It's been a whole day, so I think we've had time to properly process everything. I think, at least that's how it is for me. I mean, I feel like we've seen all that we had to see, all that they had to offer us for now, at least, and. Now we're going back to the waiting phase, but now that phase doesn't have to be as painful. All right, now which stream am I going to use? Which scene? I think we'll use this one. And what I want to do is I want to go back here and I want to sort of like relive the whole thing. All right, now let's move my face a little bit. Okay, where's the scene? There's the scene, and I'm just going to move myself out of the way a bit. I'm going to put me down here. There we go. That's good for now. And yeah, let's watch it again. Let's go back down memory lane.
All right. Well, now it has come time for our final
my mic was way too loud.
I know. What's it going to be, guys?
And my camera was going all over the place.
Any guesses? No. Frankly, I don't know what I can say to set this moment up besides this.
I give up.
Get ready.
I give up.
For the final battle.
He knew what he was doing. He said final. He said final. Yep. He knew what he was doing.
Yes. Upon our planet. Guided by calamity, one man sought dominion.
This scenery, like wow. Chill. With Sephiroth and all that.
A meteor called
chill.
To bring ruin to all.
Everyone chill. Like I was literally on top of my mic. Oh my god. The weapons.
Awakening
I was
mighty
literally on the mic.
ones
Oh my god.
stand against
Screaming
this
into it. Oh my god.
threat.
Ultima.
Now, hope
Oh,
endures
crap.
in those who fight.
Like, I'm on top of my mic.
Yes. So bad. Story short. World's in trouble.
And the
Oh my
stream
God.
is stuttering.
Wild.
Everything is just going wild.
Let's give Sephiroth the vision of a lifetime.
We're jumping into the gun. I love how Vince is just dropping down. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to use my hands. I'm just going to drop. He's aura farming.
You're mine.
Vincent! Playable Vincent! Get him!
I'll make this quick.
We're going to talk about
Yes,
playable
do it,
Vincent
Vincent.
later. Get him! Playable Sid! God, it's stuttering. Stream is barely hanging on by a thread. It's like, grab that seed and grab that seed and grab the other seed. Hojo. Yep, that's what is that disgusting Hojo I hear? Oh my god, they're huge.
Save the planet by killing her protectors.
Damn. Like that imagery of Ruby weapon.
Your faith.
Brings back nightmares.
Inside the high wind.
If you played the OG, that scenery brings it back.
It's purple. Revelation!
And you love that circle, right?
Revelation! No one got that.
Because it's giving you the image of the white materia.
Without you guys. And I won't let you down. I promise.
Like everything in this trailer is done with meaning, and it's so carefully crafted.
Did you get it? Nice one, premium.
There you have it. And no,
Yes.
he's not done yet. Please join me in welcoming back to Summer Game Fest the director of Final
Final Fantasy
Fantasy
VII
Revelation.
Revelation. Naoki Hamaguchi. Yes!
And there's little waves, the
Play
little
that
green
music.
waves
Play it.
that we saw all those years ago. You know, at
Starts with
2015.
Genesis, ends in Revelation. Nice.
Sony.
You are back. You are back with a vengeance. Whoops. Zooming in too much. Zooming in too much. Zoom out. Revelation.
We'll talk about
We
the
got
title
it.
as well.
I can't wait to see the reactions.
The reactions were mad, by the way. The reactions were mad.
Delighted to unveil Final Fantasy VII Revelation, which
We
is
got
launching
it.
simultaneously on all
Starts in, as Premium pointed out, starts in Genesis, ends in
Yes.
Revelation. It's Old
We've only
Testament
been able
stuff.
to come this
Old
far
Testament or New
thanks to
Testament?
every single one of you
He
who continue
loves
to
it.
believe in
He's
the story
loving it.
and waited for this moment with us.
For sure. For sure.
Yep, so good.
The central theme of this title is resolve. Cloud and his companions each confront their own destiny.
So that was me yesterday.
And find the resolve
How are you?
to march toward the final battle.
Damn it, Jeff.
You knew Jeff was holding on to that so hard. Like, it's a difficult. He was struggling with that announcement. Like, he knew that we knew. World's worst kept secret.
We're committed to delivering this experience in its ultimate form. Please stay with us and witness
So hyped.
what
Yep.
lies beyond that resolve.
Today, to help guide us on our
I like that he just stops
Yeah.
speaking Japanese. Like, what's the translator for that? She's like, oh, okay, so what am I doing here?
Vincent Valentine,
Matthew Mercer.
Yes!
Bring him out.
Yes!
Bring him out. I love what they did. They
Come
just
on out,
and this,
I love the red top.
like, this is what I was talking about during my previous streams. It's like I wasn't just expecting, because some people were being timid and they were being like careful with their expectations because this is Square Enix and they've been burnt in the past, and they were being like, oh, you know, if we could just get a name drop and a small reveal, then maybe at Gamescom they could show more, or at TGS, Tokyo Game Show, they could show you know, maybe a bigger trailer. But I was being like, no, I'm expecting Revelation. I'm not calling it Plus 3 anymore. Revelations to be there, and I'm expecting it to be there in a big way. Like, I want to see a big trailer. I want to see the name drop. I want to see gameplay, story elements, everything. And that's literally what they did. Like, you could tell, but like if you've been following this industry and you've been following this company, you could sort of tell that this was going to happen. Anyway.
It's
We got it.
truly a privilege to be here with you today, if you know me. There's
We know
honestly
you.
so
I was
much
dressed for the
to
occasion.
Revelation.
As you can see.
We just kind of need to dive right in. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Take
Yeah.
it away, Matt. I don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do.
Okay, we're getting more. We're getting more.
All right, don't worry. We're gonna do a full breakdown of all the scenes from both trailers,
The grave threats you'll confront as you embark upon your journey and face
and
the
in better
epic
quality.
conclusion of the remake series.
And he's just like holding him. The tension between Cloud and Sephiroth.
And the pride of the Shinra fleet. You'll take to the skies and witness our most expansive open world yet.
Yeah.
From the outskirts of Midgard.
I remember there was a chick in a bikini on the side of the Highwind. They've taken that off, I think.
Simply pick a direction.
God.
And set sail.
Yes.
How can you be expected to protect the whole
Flying the Highwind is going to be an experience.
cover ground fast?
I am not jumping. No way, no how.
Don't worry, these parachutes are top of the line. Pull the cord and pop. You'll be floating through the air like a feather.
My God.
At any moment in the open
We didn't hear much of Yuffie in this
you
trailer.
into your destination and take a leap of faith.
Did you notice Cloud's not there?
With the wind
Yeah.
rushing past, you'll descend seamlessly from the sky above to the ground below. Where will the winds guide you first?
What have they
That freedom
done?
is in your hands. But
What
no
have they
matter your
done?
destination, to defeat your enemy, you'll need a fighting chance. And that starts
My
with your
theory, no
trusted
Cloud.
allies.
Yeah, no
Long
Cloud.
last, with the world teetering on a
Oh my
blade's edge.
God.
I'm just reading some of the
What?
comments. I'm hiding those comments currently.
Forming an epic ensemble of heroes.
My theory,
Each
no
with
Cloud.
their
Yeah,
own
no Cloud.
story
Not in
brings you
that area.
closer together than ever. But a good unit needs more than friendship.
So
to save
similar,
The, day.
the
It needs a
lighting.
disciplined combat regimen. The hybrid battle system, established in Remake and
Yes.
refined in Rebirth, is perfected in Revelation, putting
Yeah.
even more power in your
Damn.
hands. In fluid, real-time
There's not going to be a lot of
action,
changes
seamlessly switch
in the
between
combat system either.
the odds.
They've
When the fight calls for
made it
strategy,
even better.
enter tactical mode to unleash a
Again,
suite
don't
of
worry.
powerful new
We're going to
spells
go
and abilities.
into the
Activate devastating synergies with your companions.
into these trailers later. I'm just looking back at my own reaction. I thought it'd be an interesting way to start this out.
I want to see what they've done to improve the battle system.
Twitch, stop buffering. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Summoning Ifrit never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
Was that a nod to Bedstar?
No, right?
Chill-inducing
Stop
fights
buffering.
ahead in Revelation. I'm so excited to see
Don't worry, we'll
all
see it
of your
again. We're gonna watch it
reactions.
again.
It's gonna be amazing. I'm guessing you have a favorite character to play in battles.
Really?
I might be a little biased, but since you brought it up,
Red top.
let's have a look at our newest coffin-dwelling companion.
My God, they're doing a full presentation.
Coffin dwelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
Yes.
before we get to Vincent, that must have cost him an arm and a leg. Like, because I remember we were talking previously about how it's too expensive for Square Enix to purchase a trailer spot at Tokyo Game Show. Sorry, at the Game Awards, because price for a slot is over $1 million. But just for one slot, you have to imagine that's about what, 2 or 3 minutes. So here, they not only bought the final section of the show, which is the biggest section of the show, right? Which must take about, I don't know, it must come with an even bigger price tag, right? And all right, we're not talking about the Game Awards. We're talking about Summer Game Fest, which might be a bit cheaper. It might be about, let's say, half price, 500,000. But they didn't only book that. All right, let's say a little bit more expensive. Let's say 600,000 because it's a final slot at Summer Game Fest, right? Because, if you want the final slot, it's going to be a little bit more expensive because they're giving you the full headline. You're the headline. You're what people are going to remember after the show, right? Because afterwards, people have to dig their memory and go back and, like, after the show's over, they have to go back and think. Whereas if you're the last game that's being shown, you're the one that people are going to stick with right? You're going to be like, oh, okay, so Final Fantasy VII. Okay, show's over. Let me go and check out Final Fantasy VII because I have it fresh in my memory. So they booked that, let's say 600,000, but they didn't only book that. They booked the entire last 20 minutes of Summer Game Fest. So I'm thinking they've paid quite a lot. That's like, and I remember people saying, no, Square Enix didn't want to pay a lot for a trailer at the Game Awards. It was like, no, dude. This proves that they didn't care about how much money they wanted to pour into the marketing of the game. They just weren't ready. Like, literally, the only thing that was holding them back was Rebirth coming out to Switch 2 and Xbox. Now that that's out of the way and they're going multi-platform, you're going to see this advertised everywhere. And literally, I don't think they're going to care about what else gets in the way, be it Grand Theft Auto 6, be it whatever, because they believe in their franchise. They believe in what they have in their hands because they understand the strength of the name of this franchise, how much weight it carries, you know? So they are going to go heavy. And we, for the next, I don't know, 6 to 7 months or until it comes out, you're going to be seeing a lot of this. I'm sorry to say, if you're not a fan of this franchise or this game, I'm sorry, but you're going to be seeing it everywhere. Like, it's going to be at Gamescom. It's going to be at TGS. It's going to be at Paris Games Week. It's going to be at PAX Australia. It's going to be at the Game Awards. It's going to be everywhere. You're going to get sick of seeing Final Fantasy VII Revelation. It was like, you're glad that up until previously, it was like you're glad that the lid hasn't blown off this casket. Now that it's blown off, to talk about Vincent a little bit as well because he's on the screen. Now that it's been blown off and they're unleashed, I'm sorry if you're not a fan of this game. I'm sorry if you're not a fan of this franchise, but you are literally going to be sick of seeing Final Fantasy VII. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be at every single game show. I don't know if it's going to be the main headline. I don't know if it's going to be the main thing, but yeah, you're going to be seeing too much of it. What was that red thing that just popped up? Anyway, all right, let's get back to it.
Go and hear that, Vincent.
Oh, that was from YouTube.
Oh, that music.
That music is from Medieval. It's the Medieval track. Eclipse.
Result of experimentation at the hands of Shinra. Vincent can transform into the Galleon beast at the press of a button.
Yes.
Gaining tremendous power while transformed.
Question. This is a question I have. And, I'm not expecting an answer, but I'm just wondering. Will Vincent be more fun to play in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth than he was in Dirge of Cerberus? I'm just asking questions here.
And when combined with the skills of a certain ace pilot, their high-impact synergies disrupt the fight.
Revelation, not Rebirth.
We're going to see this again, don't worry.
The Leaping Lancer, the Dashing Dragoon, the one and only Sid Highwind.
Sid Highwind, the
Sid
cantankerous
Highwind.
Damn, it was buffering hard.
and their mission to defeat Sephiroth.
I was going to switch to YouTube, but I was co-streaming on Twitch.
Or engage in sweeping area of effect attacks to bring a whole host of enemies to heal.
Is that
But to fully
Leviathan you're
control
summoning?
the battlefield,
Monza.
skill with a weapon
Welcome
only
in.
gets you so
It's
far.
not
To
FF9
augment
remake.
your combat capabilities, try this on for size.
Look at the
Function
new
integrated
menu.
Tactical suitwear, or the fit system for short.
I'm not a fan.
Further customize
I'm
your playstyle
putting it out there right now. I'm not a fan of the fit
I
system.
like that.
unique movesets. Alongside your equipment and
I'm not a
materia,
fan of
Fits
that.
gives you an extra edge in battle. And to
Thank you,
fix this
Alex of the past.
Which is being a jerk to me. Yeah, me too. I think it's being a jerk to everyone who's
Sensing
watching
its
this.
fate hanging in the balance, the planet itself has unleashed its last line of defense.
I'm literally eating the microphone. I'm like,
Ancient beasts that are larger than life and capable of untold destruction. Will you be enough to stop them before it's too late?
man, they
The
are
world is torn apart.
putting too much
You
into
and your
this.
friends must unite. In Revelation,
Really,
we come to the
that's just the
thrilling
opening
conclusion
part.
of the Final Fantasy VII saga.
Ooh.
And your mission is clear.
They made a
Take
mini
out
game
the
out of
Busters.
Tifa's
Equip
attempt to
your
escape the
materia
gas
and
chamber.
stand together. One last time.
That woman got no head. That Genova got no head. Whoop, whoop.
I can't even tell what's going on. My God. Maybe give us a release date before you leave, or release window, something.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, Hamaguchi-san, for bringing us this extended look at Final Fantasy VII Revelation. I think I speak for all of us when I say
But before we go,
cannot wait to play it.
Yes, we cannot wait to play it.
But Matt, I think we ended the video too early. I
Too
hate to
early.
leave the story unfinished.
oh Hamaguchi,
Yes, we
you've been waiting for so long.
Well, then, you better take a look.
What else? They're gonna spoil
This-
the whole bloody game. Oh my God.
Get the cannon back online now.
Oh, Heidegger, you're in for
Oh
it.
my God. That's diamond weapon, isn't it?
No, Sapphire.
Diamond or sapphire?
Sapphire.
I remember that scene from when I was 1997, from when I was 11 or 12. Oh my God. Come on, don't spoil it.
I love how they've brought this scene to life, though. Like, you can really feel the urgency. Even back then, this scene... And you know what?
And its stupid face.
We're going to go back and watch it.
Crap. They actually dropped that.
At last, the promise is fulfilled.
And they brought back the voice.
They brought it back.
Ends here.
They brought him back. They brought him back. And... Yes. Full complete package. Spring 2027. Yep. That's all we wanted. That's all we wanted. We're happy. Thank you, Jeff. Thank
There
you.
you have it. Final Fantasy VII Revelation coming to all platforms next spring.
Yeah.
Appropriate for today because SGF is really a celebration of games across all platforms. Thank
All right. That's it. That's about it. The craziest thing, after Hamaguchi did that show, I'm going to move back now that... let me move myself back up. Thank you. So after Hamaguchi did this show, I was... and after I ended stream, I started watching, other streamers to see their reactions. And of course, who else would I go to but Maximilian Dude? And I started watching his stream, and in the middle of his stream, he just puts everything on pause. And he's like, we'll be right back soon, dudes. And he starts up again, and all of a sudden he's like, look who's at my place.
Thank you so much.
And he's like, he's got Hamaguchi at his house.
And just
Like, the freaking director of FF7 is literally at his house, with the interpreter, and they're sitting there talking about Final Fantasy VII Revelations. It's like,
making the announcement
dude, he just went over.
You guys are gonna have a very busy Summer Games Festival.
What?
I don't want to take too much of your time.
I mean, no disrespect to Max Dude or anything. The guy's been he's one of us, right? He's literally, if we were a cult, he'd be our leader at this point. He loves Final Fantasy VII as much as he loves this game and this franchise as much as the rest of us. But it just seems so weird that did he just call him up and be like, okay, I'm coming over now, so if you want to do a quick interview, yeah, sure, whatever. But I watched the reaction afterwards of Max Dude. I saw him live, and he was just I was just trying to keep it together. It was just so insane. It's literally this screen is insane. Watching Hamaguchi casually in someone's living room, right? So it's not just insane as an image, right? It's insane because we're talking about the director of one of Square Enix's biggest games. So it's you go back years back, and you think about Square Enix's approach to video games and to communication with fans as a company, as a total. And something like this seems impossible, especially back in the 2010s. Something like this seems entirely out of reach as an idea for the director of one of their biggest projects to go to a house, to the house of one of their fans. That just seems like a no-go, I mean, it's something that would never have happened, not just to their house, but to be, you know, in the same area as you know, I don't know how many directors, Motomi Toriyama, FF13, or Hajime Tabata, 15. Naoki Yoshida for 14 is a little bit more approachable, but and 16, of course. But I still don't see him doing anything like this. He's more approachable, you know, at face-to-face events and with fans and all that. But Hamaguchi has brought it to a whole new level, you know. He's like, yeah, I'm going to pop it. Of course, you know, we all know Max Dude, and he's got a lot of credibility, and he used to be a game... He used to be in the game industry, and Square knows him, like, on a personal level. He doesn't work for Square, but he's, like, literally pretty much the closest thing to, because hundreds of thousands of people watch his streams at this point. Everyone flocks to his streams, and, you know, he's got a lot of credibility, a lot of good rep within the company, like, and it's been going on for a long time now, because I remember, like, a few years back, he was just talking about some game. I think it was Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I remember seeing, like, one of his shows, and one of the developers, I think it was Hamaguchi, he said that, like, we watch what streamers say and we take their opinion into consideration when creating these games, and they actually referenced Max Dude. So that's sort of how this relationship began. But still, thinking about the past of this company and, you know, their relationship with fans, an image like this, again, it seems a bit too good to be true. Hopefully they continue down this road when it comes to their approach to fans. They have been doing a lot of in-person events, and they have been giving fans, but honestly, it just feels like, you know, for the longest time, it just felt like it was fans from certain areas, you know? Fans from London, fans from Tokyo, fans from New York, and other parts of the US, and that would be it. I feel like Square Enix needs to sort of maybe branch out a little bit. Like, there's people here in Australia, although, you know, Naoki Yoshida did come to Australia last year, I think, and that was really good. But now, with the release of Revelations, I think it would be good for Hamaguchi to come here as well and, you know, talk to us a little bit here as well. But it's good. It's good that they've established this relationship with the community, and personally, I think they need to do more of it. Of course, on the other end, because when I say community, it's a very wide topic, right? So it can mean a lot of different things. So, and it can mean a wide net of people, some of which can be like, you know, not everyone thinks the same, right? So they do need to filter who would come to their events or who they would speak to, right? So you don't want to be giving screen time or air, or you don't want to be sharing opinions with someone who has, I don't know, dangerous ideas about your games. But yeah, this is a good thing. This is definitely a good thing. Also, you don't want to how do I put this? Like, you do want people to tell you what they want from your games, but you don't want the people who will, let me give you an example, who will be angry when they don't get what they want from your game. Or like, let's see, there's been this person, where are they? Because there was a change in the voice of Sephiroth for between Rebirth and Revelation. There's been a change. It's no longer Travis Willing, and this was confirmed by Hamaguchi at Max Dude's house. It feels surreal to say that, but he did confirm it. And a little while later, they also confirmed who's going to be his replacement in Revelation. It's going to be Travis Willingham. Travis Willingham, of course, has a long track record in the anime and video game industry. He needs no introductions, like he's voiced Roy Mustang in in Full Metal Alchemist. So, yeah. But I mean, some people have come in and, let's see. I don't want to show you anything you shouldn't see, but Here we go. Here's this person, for example. Let's look at that. It's been this person, and they've been literally nonstop all day about this situation, and they've been posting comment after comment after post after post after post, and they're making a toxic situation about why Square Enix didn't go to George Newbern, who was a person who voiced Sephiroth in Advent Children, and of course, someone made a comment that's about George Newbern, and George Newbern said, "I would have loved to have voiced Sephiroth, but I mean, that's not how it works." I think you can see it. You can see it here. Would love to, LOL. So these are the type of people that you don't want. It's like when the studio has made a decision and about their product. There are some people who go a bit too far with these creations, right? And they don't respect the fact that they think they take a bit of an approach of it belongs to me, that with video games, because I think that, like, if I purchase a product, it now belongs to me and I have a say in how the game should be created or how the developers should go about making it. So you can see this is post after post after post after post, and trying to make a hashtag, another one, and another one, and this has been going on non-stop since yesterday, and I think it starts from here. Does it? Or does it go even further? So that's why I say you need to be very careful with who you invite. Like Max Dude has a long track record of just talking about the video game, not getting involved in anything toxic, not getting involved in anything bad, so yeah, this is just one example, by the way. There are many, not just in Final Fantasy VII or in Final Fantasy in general. There are many people within gaming communities who will focus on the bad stuff, or who will constantly complain and try to create a toxic environment because the games aren't created in the way that they think they should be created. So you need to respect the fact that a studio has taken a creative decision because they think that is the correct creative decision. And if you don't agree with that decision, the only thing you can do is, you can voice your opinion, of course, but you can voice it in a respective way. And beyond that, you need to people need to find the line between voicing an opinion and harassment, right? So yeah, that's why I say that Square Enix needs to filter out the people that they talk to, or that they allow their developers to talk to. So yeah, and this issue with George Newbern and this person here trying to, like, with a constant influx of posts, they're trying to enforce an issue where there is no issue, because, as I said, everyone knows Travis Willingham, and Travis Willingham is an amazing actor, and George Newbern is also a great person and a great actor, but, we're not trying to compare them. We're not trying to say who best suits the role. We're saying that Square Enix made a decision, and we're respecting that decision, and we're going along with that decision, despite our opinion on it. I wish that Tyler Hoechlin could come back. He couldn't. The man couldn't. He was too busy. So we're going with Travis, and that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Like sitting there nagging and saying it's unfair and it's unethical, and it's what are you going to do? You're going to take Square Enix to court? Because why? Because they didn't communicate with George? And do you have proof that they didn't communicate with George? How do you know that for sure? Like, I don't understand. Or they've also gone to the point to create what do you call it? A thing that you need to sign, a petition. They're calling for people to enforce Square Enix to actually take Travis Willingham off Sephiroth and bring George Newbern back. That's how far these people are willing to go to maintain the ethical decision. It's like the game doesn't belong to you, right? This is This is a game that Square Enix is creating and is willing to share with you. This is still their property, whether you buy the game or not. Like, this is a video game that I bought, but the creators are still Nintendo, right? Even though I bought this game, I have no say on what goes on in the game. Like, do I want Yoshi to be chopped up into little bits and eaten by Bowser? Yes, maybe I do. And, you know, I'm just giving an example. And Nintendo doesn't do that. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create a petition, let Yoshi be chopped up. It's amazing. And I do understand that most of these people are young in age, but again, it's what I'm saying, that Square Enix need to be really careful, and they really need to filter who they talk to and who they don't. So, like, imagine if Hamaguchi had gone to the house of that person instead of Max Dude, what they would have done, right? But they also need. I also think that, and this is another issue. I also feel that they need to filter what journalists they talk to, because let me give you an example. Where's me history? Here we go. So, like, look, this is an interview taken, like, Hamaguchi spoke to a lot of media, and we're going to go into some of those interviews soon, and we're going to actually talk about the stuff that really matters about Final Fantasy VII Revelation. But I can't not pay attention to or talk about this one interview. Like, GameSpot was given an opportunity to talk to Hamaguchi too, and this is what happened.
Fantasy Revelation director Naoki Hamaguchi, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate the time, and I'm
not going to go into appearances or anything.
My favorite adventure. Tifa Lockhart is probably one of my favorite video game characters, if not characters, of all time. And in this portion of Final Fantasy VII, she kind of becomes the main character and serves as the glue that keeps the team together. Is that something that we can expect in Revelation? And, you know, how so, if that's the case?
So, you have the director of a major upcoming game, right? You have the director of one of the biggest upcoming releases and previous releases, right? Rebirth, too. Instead of asking him about the game's story, the game's mechanics, the game's how is it going to change compared to Rebirth, what new areas can we expect? How is the battle system going to change? How will it differ compared to the previous ones? What can new fans expect from the game? What will Sephiroth do? What new things will it introduce? Why should people buy this game? No, the first thing this person does is try to enforce the opinion that Tifa is the main character of this game. And besides, that's not even what happens. If this person had done their research and played the original game, they would know that Tifa not only takes a back seat, but Tifa entirely disappears from this section of the game, right? She just goes away because Cloud goes into like a submission. His brain stops working after the events that unfold at the Northern Crater and with Sephiroth and all that. And then Tifa finds him at a hospital in Middeal, and she's like, I'm staying with him. You guys can go do whatever you want. You can save the planet. I don't care. I'm staying with him. And Sid takes over, right? Barrett wanted to, but they said, no, we're going to put Sid in charge because he can fly the high wind and he seems a little bit more responsible. So Tifa goes away. But this journalist, she's like, you know what? No, we're going to put Tifa in front because I like Tifa. Tifa's my favorite character. So she becomes the main character, right? Because, of course, Final Fantasy needs to have a female protagonist, right? And we're talking about GameSpot, which is supposed to be one of the biggest. Like, they've got 5.6 million subscribers here. And that's what you do. Like, is this even a game journalist? Do they know anything about video games at all? Like, I literally saw this. I saw that question and I turned off. I haven't seen anything else. Like, maybe there's actually some good questions in there, but when they start the interview like that, I lose respect. And I honestly think that's what Hamaguchi was thinking as well, because from what I read from someone else, they said that Hamaguchi had to step in and say, Cloud is the main character of the story. And, you know, that's what happened in the original game, and that's what's going on here. What is this person talking about? You know? So, yeah, that's why I said that Square may need to filter out some of the journalists they're talking to as well. So they might need to ask, you know what? Because that's what happened when I was a professional journalist. They some people, like politicians and stuff, they would be like, all people if you're a head of an organization or an important person, you would be like, that they would send me emails and they would be like, what questions are you going to ask me? They wanted to know beforehand. And I think Hamaguchi had every right to be like, okay, you send me your questions beforehand and I will answer them. I want to know beforehand. And I honestly think 100%, if this was one of the questions that they were going to send him, I honestly think he would have been like, that first question, let's leave it out, because it has nothing to do with the game. It's something personal. She could have put that question at the end. Honestly, she could have put that question at the end, but like, it was terrible. Like, honestly. But anyway, that's why I say that these things need to be filtered, and Hamaguchi and Square Enix need to respect themselves a little more when they talk to. Like, you wouldn't talk to a random Tifa fanboy or fangirl, would you, on the street? Then why are you talking to them? But all right, let's put all that to the side. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty insane seeing Hamaguchi at Max Dude's house. He was like, okay, guys, I gotta go for a second. I gotta answer the door. Who's at the door? It's just Hamaguchi, you know. It's just the director of Final Fantasy VII. He's at my house, and I gotta let him in. I think some people on chat were like, did he get it? Did he pick up the food? Did he pick up the pizza on his way, or did he just come like that? Like, can you imagine? Hamaguchi's texting you. He's like, yeah, I'm coming over for an interview. And you're like, yeah, can you get some pizza on your way? Or just something to eat? Can you get some Maccas? Insane. Anyway. All right. So should we start breaking down the trailers first, or should we? No. No, what I'm going to do is, one of the people I respect the most in this community and who has the best rep is Audrey, also known as Ai Taikimochi, and she's been doing some great work in digging up stuff the last couple of days. Okay. I saw a great interview yesterday and I wanted to talk about it. Little mole on the forehead. Ooh. Famitsu interview. No, not Famitsu. We'll go into that too, but Dem Famiko. Where's the source? Give me the source. Here we go. Okay, this was by far, like, while I was reading this interview, I was getting excited. Like, I was so hyped. Okay, so we're going to go through this interview together, bit by bit. It's a long interview, but, you know, stick with me and we'll survive. Yeah, we're going to go through a lot of interviews. There's a lot of stuff to go through, and it's all about the game. And then we're going to break down the trailers as well. All right. Final Fantasy VII Revelations interview. Will areas from the past games appear? What will happen to Zack? What about playable Vincent and Sid? We asked director Hamaguchi about the latest information we're curious about. By the way, this is how you do an interview. All right, sorry, I had to go. There's 3 parts of this interview. It was on the 3rd already. I had to jump to the 1st. During the Summer Game Fest broadcast, footage of Final Fantasy VII Revelation, hereinafter referred to as Revelation, the final installment of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, was released. The long-running series is finally about to begin its act. The airship Highwind is unlocked from the beginning, allowing players to freely fly around the world map. I don't think... he says from the beginning, and he repeats that later, but I think that we need to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. So, by beginning, I think he might mean the opening 5 to 6 hours. There might be a little bit of a process that you need to go through. just as in Rebirth, you had to go through the flashback sequence, and then you had to go through Calm in order to get to the open world or the grasslands area, which semi-open world. I think you might have to go through a similar sequence of events in order to get to the Highwind, which then opens up the world. So I'm thinking, in regards to that sequence of events, I'm thinking, because of where we left off, Icicle Inn, not skateboard, snowboard minigame, Northern Crater, Cloud loses his mind, weapons start rampaging. Then you go back to Junon, you break out of Junon, and then you get the Highwind, which, honestly, it's an insane series of events. Like, it's crazy, but it'll only be like 5 hours. Tops. So it's a good series. It's a good series of events, a good sequence. It might even help you with learning how to use a combat system and all that, learning how to use Sid and Vincent, and become more accustomed. I don't think the FITS system will be available by that point. You might start using it later. But I reckon that's how it's going to go down. Going to go down. You start at Icicle Inn, where you might also learn some more information about Aerith's mother and Hoja and her relationship to Hoja. Then you go on, you get to the Icicle Inn, you climb Mount Gaia, you get to the Northern Crater. Then all hell breaks loose because Cloud gives Sephiroth the black materia, and he summons Meteor, and the weapons come out. And then Shinra arrests the rest of the party members. They break out of Junon, and then they steal the Highwind, and that's the point where you get full freedom to explore the world. So by beginning, I think that's what he means. But he's right to say that, though, because if it's like 5 hours out of a 60 or 80 hour game, 60, let's go with 60, then he is right to say that. But expect the game to open up with a big bang, a big series of events. Anyway, areas that have appeared before reappear with a new look. The new wear system, FITS system, which changes characteristics. Say that 3 times fast. It's fully unlocked at once, greatly expanding the diversity of combat. New stories are told about places that were not explored much in the original version. In conjunction with this announcement, Den Fami, I don't know how to pronounce it, conducted an interview with the game's director, Naoki Hamaguchi. We asked him about the most interesting aspects of this long-awaited new title. The interview also touched upon the game's core concept of determination. I think he said something else during the presentation. It wasn't determination, it was... Anyway, something else. As well as the development... Wait, let's see.
Thank you to
Final Fantasy 13.
Yes!
Upon our
Stop screaming at me.
Yes! Yeah. Fancy. You are
7 リベレーションをマルチプラットフォーム
Revelations.
物語を信じ待ち続けてくれた皆さんのおかげだと本当に感謝をしています。
I'm truly delighted to unveil Final Fantasy VII Revelation, which
We
is
got
launching
it.
simultaneously on all platforms.
Yeah, okay.
Every single one of you.
He
has inspired
loves
to
it.
believe in
He's
the story
loving it.
And waited for this moment with us.
今作のテーマは決意です。
Yep, so
クラウ
good.
ドたちは最後の戦いに進むため、それぞれの決意と向き合います。
So the interview.
The central theme of this title is resolve.
Resolve. I mean, I guess determination and resolve are pretty much the same thing. Anyway. As well as the development philosophy behind it, including the emphasis on the weight of choices in the game's design, where certain choices can lead to unseen storylines and unpredictable events. Hope you enjoy reading it to the end. As the concluding part of the trilogy, the title Liberation that's another thing. The title of the game in Japanese is Liberation, not Revelation. So, but liberation literally means freedom, whereas revelation means uncovering a secret. I don't know how the two are intertwined. Will reveal what has been hidden until now. Regarding the official title, Liberation or Revelation, could you tell us about the meaning behind the name and the process that led to its decision? No, to put it simply, this is about addressing the expectations of those who have followed us through to the second installment, wondering, what kind of ending will it be? This is a trilogy of remakes that was announced to mark the 20th anniversary of the original, but before we knew it, we're about to reach the 30th anniversary. What do we want to say again by remaking it in this era? The answer is, what was hidden will be revealed. That's the meaning of Liberation. I think Revelation is the correct title. In this remake series, Nomura has always made the final decision. This time too, we left it. Why is it Nomura and not Kitase? I think that, like in the original, Kitase had a more senior position than Nomura. But anyway. This time too, we left it up to him, and he agonized over the decision from about 3 options until the very end. He asked me several times which one is best, but I told him, you can decide this, Nomura, just say it decisively. And I supported his decision. So I'm just wondering what the other two were. I can't help but wonder. But honestly, and I think a lot of people are agreeing about this online, Revelation, not sins, was the most appropriate one for the third and final game. I mean, a lot of people... Hi there, Vianney Finch. A lot of people argued that Return was good, or Revival, or so many other titles, but in the end, I think they made the right choice. And I think, like, going back and thinking about it, or Requiem, or some of those other titles, that I was thinking when they were going to reveal the title that it was going to be something that only very few people had predicted. Like, there's only so many... At the end of the day, there's only so many words that start with the letter R, right? I was thinking Revival, by the way. In overseas interviews, it was mentioned that Mr. Hamaguchi has already played the game about 40 times. Is it already in a state where you can play it completely? That's right. The game is now playable from start to finish, including the side content. They wouldn't have shown it off if it wasn't. And again, if it wasn't for Rebirth coming out to the other consoles, they would have revealed it way sooner. There are still some temporary 3D assets and other things, and we are continuing the work of replacing them. Right now, we're balancing the game while playing it ourselves. We're in the final stages of development, working on the final touches every day. We're planning to release it simultaneously worldwide on multiple platforms next spring. If the game is already playable from start to finish, is there a possibility of exhibiting it at events such as the Tokyo Game Show or PAX Australia, where people can try it out? We don't have a concrete plan yet, but we are considering letting everyone try it out at that time. The footage shown off at Summer Games Fest was from the PS5 version, but is it already playable on Nintendo Switch 2 and other platforms? Sorry. It's running on Switch 2 as well. However, Switch 2 requires special optimization at the end to be stable, so we plan to proceed with the optimization for Switch 2 after development for the PS5 and PC versions is complete. So they still need to fine-tune the other versions for PS5 and PC and Xbox, and then, they'll do the final optimization for Switch 2. Landing the high wind, like in the original story. Oh. The high wind was I'm not going to read these big ones. The high wind was a frequently discussed feature among fans regarding its implementation in the third game. In the Ultimania interview, Mr. Nomura mentioned that landing would be a problem, so I was surprised to see in this video that the answer was parachute descent. Was this decided smoothly? I was in charge of this part, but I thought that having the high wind fly freely all over the world, just like in the original story, was something that absolutely had to be realized. So I kept saying that without wavering. However, as you said, landing the high wind on the ground was difficult. The high wind is on a massive scale. If you try to land it on the ground, like in the original version, you run into problems, such as the high wind being incredibly huge compared to the land, or the fact that it can only land on flat ground. So that means that you can actually jump off even if you're at a mountain or... Wow, that's actually awesome. Because remember in the original, if you weren't on a flat surface, you couldn't land. Like, that created issues. If you wanted to jump off at a mountain or something, you couldn't. You needed to find a flat surface and then walk to that mountain. And in the meantime, you had all these random encounters. So that's actually a nice way to segue that issue. The improved visuals compared to the original version have actually made some points more difficult. So the idea that simply landing and unloading the aircraft would be impossible was something I have felt even before developing Revelation, towards the end of Rebirth, and it has always been a challenge for me. So I thought about various ways to let players experience the scale of the game. So in this day and age, parachuting down is a familiar sight in Battle Royale titles and the like. We thought that having such an easily recognizable symbol would make it easier for users to get into the game. So we decided on the current form of parachuting. So they used Fortnite. They really used Fortnite as a reference. That's what he's telling us. Of course, don't forget there was a scene where they parachuted off the high wind to get into Midgar in the original game. So I suppose I could have gone with that. But from what he's saying in this paragraph, he's literally talking about Fortnite without saying the name Fortnite, right? This was very early in development. I told the team this is what we're going with, and we've been steadily moving forward ever since without wavering. You use a parachute to descend, but what happens when you want to return to the high wind? That's a good one. In that case, you can fast travel back to the high wind immediately. You can return to flying mode, and you can also return to the high wind in a state where you can explore, like inside the high wind. When it comes to movement, we wanted to prioritize convenience, as is typical for modern games. Once you parachute down to your destination, you have many options. You can walk, ride a chocobo, or parachute again. However, if we force players to use one of those options, they might get bored and think, another parachute? So we've also made it possible to fast travel to places you've already visited. That's cool. Oh, so you don't actually... It's like Rebirth, right? Once you go to a place, you don't need to take the high wind again and again and again, because... Yeah, I understand what he says. You might get bored of the process. Like, you want to go to one place, you've been to one place, and just imagine like you're doing a side quest or you're looking for an item or something, and you need to go to the other place quickly. So it's like they're not going to make you take the high wind all the time. If you can fast travel, you're going to fast travel. Like, we're not in the 90s anymore where we would have to take the high wind to get from here to there. I mean, don't get me wrong, interesting process, and the option is there if you want to do it. But nowadays, about 90% of people are just going to fast travel. The same applies when crossing continents, whether it's Calm or Cosmo Canyon. If you've been there before, you can fly. But if you haven't been there yet, you'll need to parachute down first. If there are unexplored areas within an area, the design allows you to parachute nearby and then explore. While maintaining high usability, those who want to use a parachute can, of course, do so as well. So just like in the original version, there's a map of the high wind as well. Of course, the interior of the high wind will be memorable for those who played the original version, so we've recreated that. Nice. But it's not just that. As you explore the world map, the interior of the high wind will also be updated according to your progress. How will it be updated exactly? It will be decorated, and the crew's conversations will change. Some crew members will even give you orders like, go and do this. Okay, so what, Tifa's going to be ordering me around? I won't mind that. As you explore the world map, it constantly changes, so you'll likely feel like, let's go back to Highwind once I've progressed a bit in the game. In the story, after each story arc ends, there's a scene where everyone gathers on Highwind to discuss what should we do next, so it serves as a kind of port. That's actually what they did in the original. If you think about it, there were a lot of times when the group was just at the front of the Highwind and they were just talking about current events or what to do next, or there was actually a time when They found out who Kate Sith is. I don't want to spoil it. In before Chocobo parachutes with us. Welcome in, who dares X. Yeah, can you imagine Chocobo? Like, I saw an image of Red 13 parachuting down. Someone was saying he's not made for this. Like, they keep making him do stuff that he's not made for. Poor guy. But yeah, it's interesting. Stables in OG Highwind. Oh yeah, actually there was a stable, wasn't there? Oh, you're right. I bet they've recreated that as well. In the original version, it took quite a while to unlock Highwind, but how is it in this version? I can't go into too much detail, but you do get it relatively early in the game. Yeah, see? I think everyone is really looking forward to seeing how the game starts. It has a fun beginning that's typical of the third installment, so please look forward to that as well. It's literally what I said earlier. It's you start off at Icicle Village, Icicle Inn, whatever they called it. You do the snowboarding mini mission. You get to Mount Gaia. You climb up. You do the Northern Crater thing. Everything goes to hell over there. Then the party gets locked up in Junon. You escape from Junon, and you get the Highwind. Pretty much it. Unless there's any like flashbacks or any Zack thing, we'll go into that in a little bit. Will we be able to travel around the entire world, including Midgar and Wutai, which we couldn't visit in Rebirth? You can fly freely anywhere. You can go to various islands, jump off from them, and explore freely. I love that. I love that. It's like this is literally the OG being remade. Of course, there are areas that you can't go to, but basically you can fly freely anywhere with the Highwind. Also, there was something that I was constantly going back and forth with the development team about, saying this is something I absolutely cannot compromise on. But when you reach the end, you suddenly find yourself going in the opposite direction, and you start to feel like the star was actually round after all. I think he's talking about, look at this paragraph, I think he's saying that, like, I don't know, that when you reach the end of the map, you start feeling like you're going backwards because it's round. I don't know, that's because, like, I don't know, directional navigation issues. I don't know. Other games of the Final Fantasy series also had world maps like that one, right? Yeah, that's right. So you can freely fly around the world map in the Highwind, jump down wherever you like, and explore the area. Nice. Will the areas that appeared last time appear again this time? Big question. That was a really tricky point, but I also felt that if we cut out a continent without a reason, we'd get a lot of angry responses. Yeah. Even if we thought, surely no one will use Gongaga anymore, we couldn't just cut it out unless there was a very good reason. For example, we could have come up with a reason like meteor fell and Gongaga disappeared, but that would be a bit far-fetched, and users who were attached to it would be furious, yeah. I mean, I could live without Gongaga, but no, don't lock me out of it. It's like, I might never go back to Gongaga again. Yeah, I get it. But I want to have it there. Like, it's part of the world, right? So it's hard to explain, but it would feel like cutting off access to an area just because you're not going to go back. It seems like, I understand that from a development standpoint, it's annoying to have to do that, to have to recreate it again, to have to come up with those assets again for an area that might not even be used, but it's just gone gaga. It's going gaga. Yeah, like that, right? It just, like, it pays proper respect to the original. So for that, I appreciate the work that they've done. So basically, we decided to keep all the areas. However, even if we kept all the areas, we thought that if they were exactly the same as in the previous game, there would be complaints like they're just... Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, who dares. We thought that if they were exactly the same as in the previous game, there would be complaints, like they're just there for the sake of it. We felt that if we didn't offer a different space from Rebirth, it would diminish the appeal of the work. So they changed them. Does that mean the old areas are a little different in this game? Just like in the original, weapons appear in this game, but they cause natural phenomena similar to tectonic shifts around the world, changing the terrain in various ways. So while it has a similar atmosphere, the terrain is completely different from Rebirth, and the way you explore will also change. Wow. I'm wondering what... I have no idea what he means by this, but my mind goes back to... like in Medial, in the original game, in Medial when Ultima Weapon showed up, a whole earthquake happened and then Medial was wiped off the map. Like you couldn't go there anymore. Or like in another section, Ultima Weapon, you would see it like sort of like gathering energy on top of, I think it was Gongaga or Cosmo Canyon, and it would just sit there gathering energy. So I feel like they wanted to do that. They wanted to give the weapons more emphasis or more significance in the original game. Like you saw, was it Sapphire or the other one, firing off at Junon or Midgar, or... So I reckon that what they wanted to do in the original game with the weapons, like show how important their presence was for the planet, and like how the planet was trying to protect itself by eliminating all human presence on the surface. I think we're going to see that a lot. Like this was something I actually thought while playing the original, was that the significance of the weapons wasn't pointed out enough because of the technological limitations of the time. So yeah, you had Ruby just sitting there in the desert, but like honestly, if you think about it with today's graphics, Ruby would not just be standing there in the desert doing nothing, right? He'd be wrecking shit up. He'd be tearing down the gold saucer. He'd be destroying stuff. So that might be something that we'll have to deal with. And then can you imagine, here's another thought. Can you imagine going underwater with a submarine and bumping into the weapon? Like that shit was terrifying back then. Can you imagine how horrifying it's going to be now? Oof. Gives me chills just thinking about it. Anyway. We've included some novelty that you'll only notice if you're familiar with the previous game. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Ruby, the other one, the underwater one. Airtam Storm. One more thing about exploration. In the previous game, each area had a chocobo with abilities suited to the type of exploration it was designed to be placed in that area. Yeah, like the black one, the green one, But in this game, you'll be traveling with a single chocobo named Pico throughout the game. As Pico grows, the exploration changes. Towards the end, he'll grow to the point where he can fly anywhere and go wherever he wants. Okay, question. How is one Pokemon supposed to carry 8 people? And like we're talking about people like Barrett, right? He's buff. Because it says you're going to have one Pokemon. One chocobo. Doesn't really make sense. Yeah, no, I don't think there's going to be chocobo breeding in this game. But it doesn't really make sense from a numbers standpoint. It's like, okay, cool, Cloud can write Pico and maybe put Kate Sith on it too, but what about everyone else? Who are they going to fly? I don't know. It seems... Maybe they'll explain it better during the game, but right now it just doesn't numerically make sense. For example, the grasslands area in the previous game was basically designed for exploring a flat world map, but in this game, as Pico grows, you can explore in space rather than on a flat plane. You can fly freely in the grasslands and even glide. Pico equals fat chocobo, large enough. Really? Well, if he's a fat chocobo, okay. If he's fat, he can't fly, though. Anyway. Of course, you can also fly from above with a parachute instead of using a... I don't get this paragraph. What's he saying here? Basically designed for exploring a flat world map. In this game, as Pico grows, you can explore in space rather than on a flat plane. What does he mean in space? Like, in the air? I'm thinking that it means in the air. You can fly freely in the grasslands and even glide. Of course, you can also fly from above with a parachute instead of using a chocobo. Sky equals air, yeah. So map exploration can now be done not only along the vertical and horizontal axis, but also by adding the axis of height. Even with the same map as the previous game, more spatial exploration is now possible. Players familiar with the previous game will be able to rediscover things like, I never knew the grasslands could look like this in some places. In that sense, we've made sure to deliver a new experience to users, including in existing areas. Of course, it's not just the appearance and exploration that have been revamped. The content has also been updated. Sorry. And new quests have been prepared. So I think we've managed to create a game where areas from the previous game don't feel like a rehash. By the way, can you see this properly? Should I zoom in? So being able to move freely in the Highwind means that the story progression is also left to the player to a certain extent this time around. No worries. The main story follows a predetermined order. However, this is not the case for side content. Oh, also I wanted to let's see. Alright, I'm gonna have that playing. I'm gonna turn it down. Just to have some music in the background. Let me know if it's too loud. We'll enjoy to keep occupied from going back to the tool writing Chocobo Racetrack editor for OG. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is going to be better. Like less micromanaging, because I feel like the Chocobo breeding, while it was fun, it was also a lot of, like, if you didn't have a guide to do it, you had no idea what was going on. Like, you had to find a wonderful chocobo, a wonderful female chocobo at some point, which could only be found in one area on the map, on the whole world map, right? And if you didn't know where it was, you were screwed. How the hell were you supposed to... And then you were supposed to have it mate with a black chocobo. I feel like the whole breeding system was... not to mention that there was something iffy about it, because you were like... having birds do stuff, it's weird. Anyway, for example, the main story follows one that could be bred to make blue-green, yeah. And then to make the gold one, you needed to have a male black with a female wonderful. Didn't have an issue with OG breeding. Really? You liked it? I thought it was, I don't know, a bit too much. Like running around the whole world just trying to find words. Managed to get it all without a guide. You must be one of the few. The main story follows a predetermined order. However, this is not the case for side content. For example, only thing didn't like was all that... Yeah, exactly. See, there was some aspect of it that always got in the way, right? You had to win, like, how many? 3 races to get it to move to the next level, and then another 3 to move to the level beyond that. I don't remember properly, but it was insane. It was so tedious, you know? And then you have to buy these greens or those greens or the other greens, and that was so darn expensive. Yeah, I'm glad we're done with that. Honestly, Chocobo breeding was the one aspect of the original game that I was like, look, you don't have to put it in the game. I mean, I understand if you want to put it in for just to be like... just to stick with what the original does, but if you don't put it in, it won't be the worst thing ever. Like, people complained about the mini games of Rebirth, but for me, the mini games in the original were a little bit more. Ugh. It's just that people don't remember. All right, let's go back to the interview. The main story follows a predetermined order. However, you still haven't finished Rebirth. I like how I said that. That sounded a bit judgmental. No, it's like, it's a good thing. You have all this time to finish Rebirth, like, in time. And I think it would be good to finish it, to wait just a few months before Revelation comes out. So, you know, it'll be perfect. Kate Sith's box throwing. Okay, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying, but at least that doesn't last long, right? That doesn't last as long. I completed the game, sure. So you're trying to get the platinum, are you? Yeah, I spent about, just to give you a little heads up, I spent about 300 hours trying to get the platinum. Just a little FYI. Like, those Chadley missions, they will drive you up the wall. Speaking of Chadley, there's something else we need to see later. So, the main story follows a predetermined order. However, this is not the case for side content. For example, the weapons that appear in the story have a somewhat fixed order in which they must be defeated. but the weapons that are not involved in the story can be challenged at any time. Okay. The thing I've got left is to get perfect box throwing for Kate. Can't do it on PC easily. Didn't have an issue on PSX. Well, if you're playing it on Steam, can't you connect your DualSense to do it a little bit easier? I'm just snowballing here. So I'm thinking that when Hamaguchi says weapons that appear in the story, he's talking about all the weapons that we know from the OG, like Sapphire, Ruby, etc. And the weapons that aren't involved in the story are the ones that we saw in Rebirth, the one that Tifa got eaten by, and all that. So I'm thinking that those are going to be roaming the map, hanging out. You know, you can fight them randomly. And our ones, the OG ones, are going to be the story-related weapons, like Ultima. It's okay if you jump straight into the game early on, get beaten badly, and think, this is impossible. This time we've prepared a lot of side content that's almost as good as the main story. A lot of filler. So we want users to be able to choose when to play it while keeping the main story in mind. So there's going to be a lot of filler in there. So you're somewhat bound by the story, but there are also moments when you can act freely. That's right. Even when we're really focusing on the story in certain scenes, we don't really stop the side gameplay. However, we do frequently include phases where we say, for now, please follow the story on this continent, so the structure there is similar to the previous game. I'm thinking this happens in Wutai, because you might have Yuffie steal all your weapons and your materia, and you won't be able to do side content stuff. However, there are also some clear differences from the previous game. In the previous game, the areas were unlocked one by one, and it was only near the end that you realized it was all a connected space. In this game, however, once you get the high wind early on, they did that on purpose in Rebirth, didn't they? In this game, however, once you get the high wind early on, you can freely explore all the areas using the high wind. I think that was actually a criticism in Rebirth, that you had to go to each of the areas, and a lot of people complained about that it felt like it was a lot of hand-holding. You had to go to each area, get the tower first, and then do everything else. It felt like a shopping list, or like a to-do list, to sort of go to each area and do the same thing over and over and over again. So that's why they're saying, look, we're not doing it this time. We're not telling you what to do. We're not holding your hand. Take the bloody high wind, go wherever you go, and stop complaining about it. But if you get your butt kicked, that's up to you, buddy. That's your fault. So that means there are quite a lot of areas you can explore right from the start. That's right. So the difficulty levels of each area are mixed, and you might find that one area is easy, but the next one is incredibly difficult. Can you imagine going to fight Sephiroth from the beginning? Rather than trying to conquer one area all at once, the idea is to pick and choose what you want to do in each area as you go along. As you progress through the main story and become stronger, you might think, let's try this content again. Or as you wander around, a new quest might pop up and you might think, what should I do now? The amount of content is equal to or greater than that of the previous game. So just like with Rebirth, you'll probably find yourself wondering where to start and figuring things out as you play. More filler revisit again and again. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the content of the filler. Like in Rebirth, there was some quest where you had to chase a dog, or I had no issue with the dolphin quest because it was true to the original. But there were also some side quests that were just tedious. Or would you like to see the most and the least? The most. You're talking about side quests now, right? Not just in general. If you're talking about side quests, I'd like to see side quests. I'd like to see side quests that are connected to other parts of the franchise, or not the franchise. What do you call it? The Final Fantasy VII series, because they branched out. There's other games like Crisis Core or Dirge Cerberus or Advent Children, things like that maybe show you characters or give you time to associate with characters from those games, right? I don't know, like Genesis from Crisis Core, something like that. The least is, sort of side quests that, like, go get me some bread, or go talk to this farmer for me, and bring me back a recipe. Like, there was one I remember in Gongaga with Sisney that had you running around, helping her create a recipe because she couldn't cook. Like, I get it. Some people might enjoy that slice of life stuff, but not me. Like, unless it's... I understand that it gives you time to spend time with characters that... I don't know, from other games in the series, but do it in a more meaningful way where we can learn things about them, Slice of life stuff, I don't know, I'm not too keen on. So anyway, the amount of content is equal to or greater than that of the previous game. So just like with Rebirth, you'll probably find yourself wondering where to start and figuring things out as you play. True. People who like to take detours might find it difficult to progress through the main story. I really think so. For meticulous people, in the previous game, you could play by saying, I won't move on to the next area until I've completed this area completely. But I don't think that's possible this time. There are many areas to go to, and there's a lot of content that you can't tackle right away. Well, that's good, isn't it? I think it will come down to deciding where to draw the line. Even during a full playthrough in development, it takes a considerable amount of time to see all the content. So we set conditions for ourselves, like, this time we'll only do the main story. But if we try to do all the side content, we never make any progress on the main story. So the scale of the open world has been scaled up even further, right? The term open world is a little bit vague in its definition, but I feel that the scale of the game experience has clearly evolved to the next level compared to Rebirth. In that sense, I would like many people to check out this new style of open world game that comes after Rebirth. I don't know what he means by that. I have no idea what he means by that. But I'm really interested to find out. New style of open world game. They're confident in what they've made. And one of the biggest advantages that they have as a team, and he has said it too, he said it on Max Dude's stream. He said that we have the opportunity of going back and recreating a game, or seeing what we did well and what we did wrong, and fixing it and coming up with new ideas for the same game, and then putting it out there again. So it's like they're going back, they're taking all the feedback from Rebirth, they're fixing it, and they're making an even better experience for Revelation, which is awesome. The video that was released announced that Sid and Vincent will be joining the game. I'd like to ask a little about their character traits. From the video, it looked like Vincent mainly uses guns. Really? No, it's not exactly that guns are the main weapon. They're a slightly different type, but they're closer to characters like Yuffie, who can handle both close and long-range combat. Vincent is a bit more of an attacker than Yuffie, and he's a character who can freely switch between beast mode. Ooh, cool. In the original FF7, Vincent's beast mode was a special state with a time limit. Yeah, it was his limit break. But in this game, there is no time limit. Oh, cool. It's similar to Yuffie's shurikens. You can easily switch between beast mode and... Oh, man. So you can turn into the Goliath beast at any time? That's cool. In human form with a single button press. But I wonder though, will Vincent have his... Because he had like 4 limit breaks in the original. Chaos was the last one. What were the other 2? Wait, hang on. Vincent limit breaks. He has 4 limit break levels. This one, Goliath Beast, Death Gigas, where he becomes like a Frankenstein kind of thing, and he dunks. Hellmasker. Oh, yeah, this one. He runs around with a chainsaw. Oh my god. And Chaos was the last one. Yeah. Vincent transforms into Chaos. And this one was the popular one from Dirge of Cerberus as well. Anyway, we haven't heard anything about those just yet. but I'm hoping that they are in the game one way or another. You can control whether to make the character a close-range attacker or a long-range, high-damage attacker depending on the timing. I think that's what makes the character so enjoyable to play and will appeal to a lot of people. Yep. Vincent is definitely in my main party. My main team is Cloud, Red 13, and Vincent, FYI. What about Sid? His fighting style seems to be the same as the original, using a spear, but what are some of his defining characteristics? Vincent, aka, yeah! Yes, the Edgelord. Did you see in the trailer where he's aura farming, where he jumps off the high wind? He's just like, everyone else is like, we're falling. And he's just like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Gravity means nothing to me. He's an attacker who excels at flying and aerial combat, and he has many input techniques that can be performed in the air. While he's an attacker, he's also somewhat strong in support roles. To give an analogy, he's like an aerial version of Red 13. If Red 13 is a ground type, then Sid is the aerial type, an attacker with a slightly more specialized support role. A tradition in the Final Fantasy series is the Dragoon's jump attack. Because it allows for wide area attacks in mid-air, it excels at dealing with multiple enemies simultaneously. It's said within the development team that it's incredibly useful for players who enjoy optimizing battle logic and efficiency. Okay, I don't know. I mean, I guess Sid has a lot of fans too, and they'll enjoy playing as him. I don't know much to say. I don't have much to say about Vincent. The only thing I have to say is that it feels like they've really dumbed down his role. Not dumbed down, but like taken down, all the language, because in the OG he cursed a lot. And he smoked a lot as well. He had a cigarette. They took that away from him. He's not allowed to smoke anymore. He's become very PG. No smoking for Vincent. No cursing for Vincent. No bad language. So it's... Anyway, it's kind of... it seems like the OG Final Fantasy was like a game for adults, even though it was more cartoonish. And this game is for everyone, as they said on their social media accounts, which is why there's not that much blood in it, there's not that much gore in it, there's not that much cursing or anything like that. In the video, there was a scene where Vincent and Sid become incredibly powerful when they work together. Is this similar to the cooperative ability from last time? That's right. There are cooperative elements between Sid and Vincent, as well as between them and other existing characters. Vincent and Sid are newly added this time, but I hope you'll enjoy freely combining them with the existing characters as well. For example, you could try combining Sid, Barrett, and Yuffie for long-range attacks, or I hope you'll freely design your party. Yeah, these are the synergy attacks that we had in Rebirth, which are cool. I was just hoping that they would create... And this is something that a lot of people said. Synergy attacks for 3 members instead of just 2. Speaking of battles, it was announced that a new wear system will be added in this game. It's called Fits in English. Could you tell us more about it? When we were thinking about what to do with the battle system in the 3rd game, I discussed with battle director Endo, Hiroki Endo, that the only way to expand it was through add-ons. It was the same when we went from Remake to Rebirth. But when you cut out the existing battle system and put in something new, you inevitably get negative reactions. So even then, we couldn't remove the commands from the ATB and action fusion we created in the first game, so we added combination techniques as an add-on. There will undoubtedly be a certain number of people who say that's what I liked about it, so it's certainly a difficult decision. So this time, we also considered adding an add-on, but both the Remake and Rebirth were already highly acclaimed, and in a sense, the battle systems were already nearing completion, so we wondered what we could add to them. That's when Endo came up with the idea of Fits, inspired by the job change system of the Final Fantasy series. The characters in FF7 have very defined personalities, and their roles tend to be fixed. For example, Cloud is an attacker. But with job change, it becomes possible to create combinations, like being more warrior-oriented, but also able to use a little magic. This makes it easier to combine characters that were previously difficult to choose due to their fixed roles. It also doesn't overlap with existing systems or functions, and it all started with the idea of That sounds interesting. Since it stems from a job change, does that mean you have a wide variety of clothing styles? That's right. But this is where Endo's genius comes in. Usually, with systems like this, the number of jobs increases gradually as the game progresses, and stronger jobs are unlocked in later stages of the game. That's the kind of balanced design you get, right? We considered placing new clothing items as rewards here as a way to guide the gameplay. However, Endo said, the moment the clothing system is unlocked, I want to unlock all the clothing items for all characters at once. This is highlighted. All of them? Everything. Not little by little, but all at once. His intention was that if you unlock things little by little, Cloud would always start with warrior attire, then Kate Sith would have mage attire, and so on. And while making it seem like you're choosing, you're actually walking on a game design prepared by the creators. In the end, it balances out with everyone will change it like this anyway. Instead, we wanted users to decide for themselves. I want Cloud to fight in this kind of role. And that's why we unlock all the outfits at once at the beginning of the game. There are 4 types of outfits in total, and all 4 types are unlocked at once for all characters, and you can delve deeper into the outfits in conjunction with a skill tree. We had a strong vision of letting users decide for themselves which outfit to use for each character. So we went along. That actually makes a lot of sense. Sorry, let me just... My mouth's getting dry. But that actually makes a crazy amount of sense. Because I could have done it like that. Like, they could have done it in a way that, like, okay, now you've beaten one boss and you've unlocked the warrior outfit or the warrior fit, right? But that wouldn't have done anything for the players or the fans. So instead, what they do is that they just give people everything all at once, and they're like, you decide what to do with them. You decide how to play. So, yeah, and what they get out of that is they get to see the player's choice, like how they use each player. Like, who knows? Maybe someone will have... I don't know. I don't know what the fits are going to be as well, right? Like maybe someone will turn Vincent into a blue mage or Sid into a white mage. It's like literally... The only surprising thing is that there's 4 fits. It's weird that there's only 4, right? Of course, each fit will look different. I'm thinking each fit will look different on each character. It won't just be like one fit will look the same on each character, right? Because if you look at the Black Mage fit on Tifa, I don't think that's what it'll look like on Cloud, right? Like, let's see. I just want to see the fit photo. Yeah, see? So this is the Black Mage fit for Tifa, although there's a lot of white on it. But I don't think it'll look like that on Cloud. It'll definitely look different on Cloud. So, yeah. You have 4 fits, but they each look differently. Like they might maintain the characteristics of the job, but they will look a little bit different for each character. So I'm thinking that 4 is a good number, but it's like you got to think it's 4 times 8 for the designs, right? Because like while they do the same thing on each character, they look differently on each of them. I wonder what Vincent would look like as a white mage. Anyway, like honestly, I'm wondering what they will all look like as. It's going to be cool, actually, to see the outfits. I wasn't a big fan of outfits in Rebirth because, well, honestly, I didn't use them. But I know that players and fans nowadays are hugely, and customization options are hugely popular with players. So this was a good choice. Anyway, so the fighting styles will vary greatly from player to player, right? That's exactly what we're aiming for. There are already a huge number of player combinations, but the outcome also changes depending on which outfit you put on which character. So there will be differences between players. In that sense, I should have mentioned this from the beginning, but the concept of this game is determination, or resolve. In this story, Cloud and his friends face the final battle, confronting the burdens they carry and making a firm resolve to face it. for us creators, this is the finale, so we approach it with a determination to bring it to a definite conclusion. Similarly, we want users to have the confidence to choose their own gaming experience. We don't want the developers to set things up and guide them in a way that makes them feel like they're making the choice. We want users to choose for themselves. Considering the cost effectiveness and expenses, we were tempted to say this outfit will be a reward for defeating this boss, but we decided to go against that. Yeah, see? It was definitely more expensive to do it that way, but they wanted to create a wholesome experience, you know? This system seems like it would appeal to people who like changing jobs. But I don't understand though. I mean, I get the outfit changes, but does it change your materia setup? That's what I'm thinking, because like if you want to create a character who's using black magic, you're gonna have to give them the materia for it, right? So I'm thinking the fit just takes the materia that's in your inventory and gives them to that character. You could easily do that yourself. You don't need a fit for it. Unless it's just like a sort of like default. Like it's a custom that you take, you put it on the character, and the character has like fire materia, ice materia, blizzard materia, wind materia, earth materia, cure materia, or like they might have cure materia. Like a white mage fit would have like cure materia, heal materia, and so on. And like a warrior fit would have like a, I don't know, 2x cut. And then you might have like something like a saboteur that would have poison and stuff like that. And a summoner. But you can only summon 3. You can, FYI, in this game, you can put 3 summons on each character. You're not limited to just 1, which is cool. The wear not only affects parameters, but also increases the actions and skills available during battle, which can be further expanded through the skill tree. This broadens the range of battle strategies, so I think it's a game that many people will enjoy. By the way, are Vincent and Sid the only 2 new characters joining the roster? The battle members will only be the main characters. The goal of the remake series is basically to revive the characters from the original version, so I don't think creating and adding new characters would be what the fans want. Did someone say that there was going to be a new character? Who was it that said that? People suck. Don't believe everything you hear online. Anyway, however, at key points in the game, just like in the previous game, Zack will make appearances and other guest characters will join as playable characters, and these elements are incorporated into the story. That being said, the basic style is to thoroughly customize and control the main characters. So it's not... I don't know what it means. Like maybe the Turks or maybe some other characters. I don't know. So Zack will be appearing in this game as well? I'm glad you asked. Zack is often talked about in overseas media, but his role in this Final Fantasy VII Remake series is to tell the story of a slightly different worldview and setting from the original version through him. There are some slightly different elements between the original and the remake series. The previous game depicted the existence of multiple times, so he confirms it, multiple timelines. But directly stating that in words would spoil the appeal, wouldn't it? Zack plays that role again in this game, so his screen time is even greater than before, and he's provided as an even more important part of the gameplay experience. That says a lot about our friend Zack. So we're going to be getting even more Zack than we did in Rebirth. That's interesting. So again, he'll be jumping from timeline to time, but I think this time he'll have more recognition of what's going on with him because of everything that's happened to him. I don't know. I don't know what this could imply for both the character and, and the game itself. We'll have to wait and see. I can't think of what this will mean in terms of, its own significance, right? Like, will he again be jumping from one timeline to another? Will we have any control over it? Will we be able to, choose timelines this time? Or maybe, because Hamaguchi has pointed out that this game is all about control and changing your fate, right? So maybe they'll give us a bit more control over what we do with Zack, and it won't just be like watching him go through a predefined series of events like what happened in Rebirth. Anyway, speaking of which, Reno of the Turks also appeared in the video, right? He didn't have any lines this time, but has a replacement voice actor already been decided? Just a bit of context here. In Final Fantasy VII Remake, Keiji Fujiwara is a Japanese voice actor. Keiji Fujiwara continued to voice the character as he had done in previous Final Fantasy VII related works. However, he passed away after the game's release, so in the next installment, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, his voice was recorded using a pre-existing voice library. So that's unfortunate. And you see it happens in Japan as well. It's not just the English version of Sephiroth. Anyway, Hamaguchi says it's decided. Who will be playing the role? We'll talk about that another time. So, are there substantial lines of dialogue? Yes, we definitely have it this time. As this is the third and final installment, we've made sure to depict not only Reno's story, but also the exploits of Irene Elena and the other Turks. So please look forward to that as well. Oh, there was a line I missed. Hang on. Let's look at that. It also includes elements that complement the world of the work, such as stories related to Wutai that couldn't be fully depicted in the original version. I don't know what that means. Speaking of the Turks, will Wutai also make an appearance in this game? Not film. Wutai is not just featured properly, it's featured thoroughly and completely. Laughs. Are there any differences in the storyline compared to the original version? In the original, despite being set up as a place of conflict with the Shinra Company, Wutai was depicted as a place with a peaceful atmosphere. That's right. Just like in Rebirth, the Shinra Company, Wutai, Cloud, and the Avalanche, various organizations, are all moving forward with their own agendas and believing in their own sense of justice. With meteor floating in the sky and another threat looming in the form of a mysterious weapon, the game portrays with more realism than the original how their missions intersect and lead to the final conclusion. Locations like Wutai, which weren't essential in the original, are included to enhance the story and allow these points to be fully explored. For example, the Gongaga area in Rebirth was well received by users, and by adding events that weren't in the original game, such as Tifa sharing some thoughts in the mental world, users were able to understand the story more easily. In that sense, Wutai has a very politically charged storyline. We were expecting that. But yeah. Speaking of which, and this is a bit of a digression, is there any possibility that any of the people involved with the deep ground that appeared in Intergrade will make an appearance? Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, the additional episode Intermission, adds a new story featuring Yuffie and Sonon as the main characters and introduces Vice and the Deep Ground organization. This time, the Midgar area will also be featured and you'll be able to explore it. So I hope we can meet expectations, including the characters whose names you mentioned. So, I mean, he's not saying it flat out, but, you know, there is a chance that we'll probably bump into Deep Ground again and, you know, wink wink, a certain character from Deep Ground. Well, at the end of Crisis Core, Deep Ground came and pulled up Genesis, who's, you know, a former soldier, like pretty much as strong as Sephiroth, right? So they came and they pulled him in and they took him and they pulled him into Deep Ground. So, you know, a lot of people have been wanting to see Genesis, you know, almost as much as Zack. I mean, maybe not as much as Zack, but they've been calling out for him a lot. And like, I also think he's a cool character and it'd be awesome to see him because he's from Crisis Core, you know, and Crisis Core is a really popular game. So conversely, I'd like to ask about things that didn't appear in the trailer. For example, will Rocket Town appear in this game? Of course it will appear. In terms of the storyline, Rocket Town was originally meant to be depicted in Rebirth, but when we considered the structure, we concluded that it would be better to move it to the third game. We will visit it towards the end of the story, but it has been incorporated into the story of Revelation from the very beginning, and I think it turned out very well. Yeah. So we were meant to go there, and that's where we were supposed to get the tiny Bronco, because that's what happened in the original. But they changed it, so we didn't get to go to Rocket Town. So what I'm thinking is we're probably going to go to Rocket... Oh, this is what happened in the original anyway. We're probably going to go to Rocket Town, as he says, towards the end, in order to take the spaceship, the rocket ship, and go up to space and find the large material, or the huge materia that Shinra are looking for. Because Shinra use that rocket, they load it up with a huge materia and they try to destroy media. Doesn't work, of course. Spoilers. What about the underwater world? The underwater world will also appear in the story. I can't give you any specific details, but I hope you look forward to seeing how it's depicted in this work. Man, this is a part of the interview that I was reading. I was getting really excited because he's talking about Rocket Town and he hasn't said anything about space, but I'm thinking about it. And he's talking about the underwater section and the submarine and all that. So, you know, it's pretty hype. It's all pretty hype, you know. Just thinking about how they're all going to be shown and how you're going to get to see them. Also, this is related to the original version, but the scope of this revelation is right around the time you can obtain the summon materia Knights of the Round. It didn't appear in the previous two games, but what about this time? Regarding Knights of the Round, I think there's no way we're not going to remake it. After all, for fans of the original, it's one of the unforgettable, iconic elements. In a sense, it's not so much because this is the third installment in the series, but rather because it's a discussion that has come up frequently throughout the series. We are developing it with the intention of creating content that lives up to that, so I hope you will look forward to seeing how it is expressed in the actual game. Knights of the Round, a vicious summon materia that summons 13 Knights of the Round Table and unleashes a series of attacks on the enemy called Ultimate End. Nothing remains after the attack is over. The enemy is annihilated. Yeah, I don't know. Regarding Knights of the Round, I'm thinking they're not going to have it as a summon materia. It's going to be something else, something different. Like, could be 13 different knights that you have to fight and recruit or in order to get the help in the final battle. It could be, I don't know, but I'm confident that it's not going to be a summon. It's going to be something different. It might appear in an entirely different form in the final game because of its significance, right? Or it might be something that you have to search for or do something, go out of your way completely to find. I don't know, but it's not going to be as simple as, which wasn't simple, of course, but as simple as use a materia to bring them in and have them use a slash, and that's about it. Can you imagine if it was a summon in the way that they use summons in Remake and Rebirth? Like, it's 13 knights running around and you're trying to find where the enemy is and hit the enemy, and like, just imagine you're fighting like 5 or 6 random enemies, like little spawns, and you summon Knights of the Round and there's like another 13 enemies. No, there's only so many things that a processor can do. Especially on the Switch too, right? I know this is a question I've asked before, but the story really does conclude with this installment, right? Of course, it will be a conclusion. I'm truly confident in this ending, and I feel that I am glad that we were able to bring it to a proper conclusion. I think everyone is very interested in whether it will follow the original story or if something will change. But as the conclusion of a series that has taken more than 10 years to complete, I believe that I can provide everyone with an ending that I, as the director, can be satisfied with. I hope you will play it and experience for yourselves what kind of ending it is. In the previous game, events change based on the affection level system. Is that system also used in this game? Regarding this, there are some differences between Rebirth and this game. I put a lot of thought into the game design of the previous game, and I'm very happy with it, but I don't think that if I repeat the same things, it will be appreciated by users in the same way. It's precisely because there are new changes and evolutions that a work can be praised as challenging, so I don't think that simply sticking to a good format is always the best approach. The affection system in previous installments basically focused on Cloud, depicting the story and game experience primarily through his perspective. So the affection system was portrayed as Cloud's affection level with someone else. However, in this game, while Cloud is an important protagonist, the focus isn't solely on him. Yeah, because as we know, Cloud goes away for a long period of time. Instead, the policy is to give each character some degree of attention and develop them thoroughly. Whether or not to make it visible to users as a numerical element like ability is another discussion, but the side elements prioritize which character each user wants to delve deeper into and learn more about. We've made it a game where players can see how that intention is reflected in the gameplay, so I think it will be a slightly different experience from the previous game. So rather than the characters connecting with one another, I think this is more like the player connecting with each character independently. So, like, you might have the ability to find out more about Barrett, or Red 13, or Vincent, or Sid, you know? And that's pretty much the path you take until the end. And if you do that, like, that's how you finish the game. But then you might have but that means that you've played the game as Vincent, right? You've experienced it mostly as Vincent or whoever. So that might mean that then you have the opportunity to play the game again as another character. If each player delves deeper into their own character, then it seems like each player will have a different experience with the ending. That's exactly what I'm talking about. For example, are there any branching endings? I don't think ending the story with multiple endings is what users are looking for with this game. Rather, as creators, we should provide a single conclusion that we can say, this is the end of the Final Fantasy VII Remake series. That's why we don't want the main story to be swayed by the user experience. However, the side elements that expand upon that should be tailored to each player's individual game experience. It has to be a decisive choice, meaning that if a choice doesn't have weight, it's not really a choice. After all, if you can do it later anyway, it doesn't really matter which one you do first, does it? So the side elements that enrich the main story go so far as to change the storytelling itself and the gameplay depending on the user's choices. Each player will have a different approach, and as a result, the story itself will be different for each player. That's a clear difference from the previous game. Wow. Okay, that's a lot. So it means that, as I said, if you play as one character and choose to follow that character's story, you'll have a completely different experience. And maybe not completely different because the main story might follow a certain path, but I don't know. It might even impact the main story experience, you know? I can't really tell. Rather than one being better or worse, I think it's a difference in the game's concept. The previous game emphasized that you could have the same experience no matter what order you played in. So you could play whatever you liked without worry. However, what we're emphasizing in this game is decisive choices. So depending on your choices, there may be stories you can't see and events you can't learn about. In this game, we've deliberately created such elements to make the user's experience of choosing different from the previous game. So that means you might even have to play the game up to 8 times. I'm not joking. You might have to play the game up to 8 times to see everything. And this has nothing to do with the platinum story. This has to do with the platinum trophy. This has to do with the story, right? You might have to play it up to 8 times because there's 8 main characters, right? And that's not even thinking about things like Zack or anything like that. You might literally have to play this 8 times. And can you imagine having to play it as... That does seem a little bit silly though, because you're unlocking me out of certain cutscenes, which might be important too. I mean, I understand that you want me to feel like my choices have weight, and that'll make the first experience, or even the second, it might make them really, really cool, really great, or really different, because I'll be thinking that, like, my choices have weight, as Hamaguchi is saying. But at the end of the day, it's not it's not a single playthrough, right? Because I'm the type of person, and a lot of people out there are the same as me, that I want to see everything in I want to see everything that Final Fantasy VII has to offer. So essentially, you're blocking me from seeing certain cutscenes, and you're forcing me to go back and play it again and again and again to see what is essentially the same outcome. So, is that good or bad? I think people are gonna have issues with this. There's gonna be people who complain about that because they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, but you've locked me out of important cutscenes, right?" Like, yes, I do see some cutscenes to get when I get to the end, but you've locked me out of others. And I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, that's interesting that my game ended that way. Let me see what happened with others." No, I want to see them all for myself. I want everything. I want to see everything that Final Fantasy VII has to offer. I want to see it for myself. I don't want to go to someone else's stream, or I don't want to go to YouTube to see it. I want to see it for myself. If I see it somewhere else, personally, I'm going to be very angry. Honestly, I'm going to be mad. But essentially, we're forced to play this game 8 times to see everything. I'm thinking 8 times, right? Because it says that your choices matter and which character you emphasize on matters. Anyway, this is just my own hypothesis, right? This is another question about an element that was in the original version, but is the slapping contest still there? Important stuff. These are the important questions. I'm also a fan who played the original version, so I remember the slap. But to be honest, it didn't leave a very strong impression on me when I first joined this remake. Hamaguchi-san, no. However, as we worked on the remake and rebirth, we realized that there were a lot of fans who were really looking forward to it. So I felt we couldn't cut corners. We've put a lot of effort into it, so I hope you'll look for. Yeah, you better. Like, especially with what Scarlet has done in remake, in integrate, and in rebirth. With what Scarlet has done, no, we need some catharsis. We need to cleanse her face off. Like, and with what she's going to do in Revelation as well. No, she needs to. Oh, that's going to be cleansing. That's going to be a really good scene. And it's very early on, huh? It's in the very early stages of Revelation. Are most of the minigames from the original version still included, including the slapping game? That's right. Some people have said that there are too many minigames, but I have no intention of reducing the number of minigames in this FF7 remake series. That's because the original FF7 had a lot of minigames, and that diversity is what fans have come to appreciate. True, that makes sense. I agree with that. However, the idea of not inheriting elements from the original series never crossed my mind, and I will never waver from the fact that this series is a game overflowing with diverse minigames. I just believe that by adjusting how it's played, we can make it less stressful for many people. I learned a lot from Rebirth, and I've incorporated that into this game. For example, in the previous game, minigames were often linked to battle progression and trophies, but I've streamlined that and made it easier to understand. See, it's again what we say that like he's fortunate enough to be working on the same game, essentially. Well, not essentially. He's still working on the same game, and he's just ironing out the kinks, and just trying to make it, listening to what players didn't like. He's fixing that. But I never understood that complaint, though. That complaint came from perfectionists who wanted to get the platinum trophy. But how do you expect to call yourself a perfectionist if you're not going to spend hours and hours trying to get the platinum trophy? What? You don't like the aspects of the game? You're complaining about how difficult a game is? It's supposed to be difficult. What? You only just want to fight stuff to get yourself the platinum trophy? It doesn't work like that. You were supposed to do a lot of diverse stuff and do the mini games. I did all of it. I got the platinum trophy in Rebirth. It was difficult, yes, but I didn't think that it was I actually appreciated the diversity of and the changing of environments. If it was all just fight this guy, fight that guy, fight the other guy, like it was in Remake, I got bored in Remake trying to get the platinum trophy because it was mostly fighting and a little bit of riding the bike too, but it was kind of lame, to be honest. Rebirth really diversified the field, and I hope they do that with. I hope they keep doing that with Revelation. So the minigame element reduces the impact on the outside world of the game, right? We tried to make the rewards for the minigames as self-contained as possible within the minigames themselves, and we focused on enhancing usability with things like character skins that aren't related to battle strategy. Conversely, so that to me says that there are skins that aren't really fits, they are just cosmetic. Conversely, we grouped the battle elements that players really want to do into battle-oriented side content to create a clear distinction, making it easier for people who don't want to play those things to choose them. We've made 2 further improvements. First, just like the battle system has easy and normal modes, we've added easy and normal modes to the minigames. Second, for those who simply don't enjoy playing minigames, we've added a function to skip them. I think that's fair. Like, can you imagine like skipping the slapping minigame? Who would do that? Why would you do that? But there are people out there who will do that, so it's good that they've added that option. For example, some people might ask, why can't you skip minigames when you can skip cutscenes and not see the story? So we've included a feature where you can try them out briefly, and if you decide they're not for you, you can skip them and they'll be marked as completed. You agree with that? You like that? You like that as an option? At the end of the day, you could just have AI do everything for you. Like, that's not how the original played out, though. I imagine he did it when he was doing this. I'm thinking that, like, he did it because of all the complaints, right? From Rebirth. But he was probably thinking that, like, these people don't want to do anything anymore. These people don't want anything. Like, maybe we should just give them part 3 as like a DVD or like a Netflix content, and they could just watch it because they don't even want to play. They're too. I swear, this generation of gamers is just like, you want to skip a minigame? Like, it could be a really easy minigame. It could be a really fun minigame. You're just going to complain about it. And honestly, I believe that there'll be people who complain about this option. I think I'm complaining about that option right now too. Anyway, but at the end of the day, it's good because it doesn't force someone to do something that they don't want to do. Because that's what happened in Rebirth. It was like you were forcing people to do something that they didn't want to do, especially for the main story, right? If there was a minigame in the main story, you're essentially forcing people to... What? Were there any minigames in the... Yeah, there were. I'm thinking in Desert Prison where you had to escape and Barrett was shooting stuff up. Sorry, I was thirsty. Anyway. We've decided not to reduce the number of minigames, so we can't accommodate requests to do so. However, we've made as many improvements as we could, and we're looking forward to seeing the reactions to Revelation. I'm happy that he didn't back down on that. It's like, no, I'm not cutting down the minigames, but you don't have to play them. I was relieved to hear that the slapping contest would remain. The slap scene will definitely be included. Just the other day, I was discussing the expression with the art director. I was like, I'm not going to compromise on this. A lot of people are really looking forward to the slap scene. Finally, could you please give a message to the fans who are looking forward to the release of Revelation? The theme of this game is determination or resolve, which I also talked about in the interview. It strongly embodies the resolve to move towards the final finale of Cloud and his friend's story, which you have all been following for nearly 10 years. And to live up to that expectation, both I personally and as a team are determined to deliver something great to everyone. So I hope you will all be determined to play along and watch with us. Rather than the developers setting things up and guiding the user while making it seem like they're making the choices, we want to let the user choose for themselves. I think this statement encapsulates what this game, Revelation, aimed for. Many of the new features discussed, such as the ability to unlock all clothing at once, fits, the freedom of movement provided by Highwind, and the enhanced freedom of exploration through Pico's growth, are designed with the player's choices in mind. The determination presented as a concept is a determination to accept weighty choices. Hamaguchi explained that the word determination encompasses not only Cloud and his companion's determination within the story, but also the creator's determination to bring it to a definitive conclusion. This interview truly allowed us to feel the effort that the developers have put in to bring this long-running series to a finale. The game is scheduled for release in spring. Okay. pretty hefty interview. It was pretty long. Like, I think it took us over an hour to read it all, but it was pretty awesome. Like what he said, like, talks about like we'll be able to revisit areas that we went to in Rebirth. For some reason, that excites me a lot, and they'll be different. They'll be the same but different because of the weapons. Each of the weapons plays a significant role in the main story, and they also impact the environment around them. And we'll fight them in the main story, but there'll be also smaller weapons roaming the map, which you can fight at any time. The story changes depending on which character you choose to emphasize on. It'll be interesting because you'll get to see who focuses on who, right? And who's going to stick with Cloud from the beginning. It'll be like, did anyone stick with Cloud? He's the protagonist, man. Poor Cloud. What else? We saw about the fits that they'll unlock almost immediately. As with I'll be waiting for Gamescom. Yes, you can expect to see a lot more news from FF7 at Gamescom, at Tokyo Game Show, Paris Games Week, at the Game Awards. Like literally, as I said at the beginning of the stream, if you're not a fan of Final Fantasy VII, I feel sorry for you because literally this next few months are going to be just about this game. You're going to be seeing it just like we were seeing Resident Evil Requiem at almost every main event. Now it's going to be the same for FF7, right? Because they are ready. They want to share this info. They don't want to hold it. So it's like they're counting the days backwards until Gamescom. So literally, when is Gamescom? Gamescom. Opening night live. When? Yeah, we know Jeff Keighley. What time? When? Tuesday, August 25th. It's not that far. So you could expect that that's when we're going to see it again. It's June 7th. Dude. That was a good one, Lona. So, also Tokyo Game Show. Yeah, but Tokyo Game Show doesn't have a presentation event, right? So while I do think that FF7 will be at Tokyo Game Show, I don't think we'll get any live presentation. We might get a trailer or something, but I don't think we'll get any live events. As is the same with... So after after Gamescom, I think the next main event that we'll see FF7 at will be the Game Awards. So literally anything that Jeff Keighley is involved in, we're literally held hostage by Jeff Keighley. And then after that, I think after the Game Awards, they'll essentially just be like, okay, here's another final trailer and here's the game, which will come out in April. We're not getting it. One thing I'm disappointed about, we're missing the anniversary. We're not getting it on January 30th. Everyone was thinking January 30th, 2027, which is the 30th anniversary from the main game. We're not getting it then. That sucks. That's a missed opportunity. And I honestly think the game will be ready by then. Because as Hamaguchi himself says, they're just fixing it up. They're just doing final optimization. Anyway. Okay, this was a good interview. There'll be more Zack in this game. We might even bump into Deep Ground when we go back to Midgar, so there'll be more characters. It depends on which main character you choose to focus on. That will change the story, so you might have to play it multiple times. You get Highwind almost immediately. You get... so much stuff. This is good. This has me really psyched. You get to go to space. You get to go to Rocket Town. You get to go take the sub and go underwater. You get to go literally anywhere you want. There's no chocobo breeding. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm okay with it. You just take Pico and you raise him. So much stuff. Okay, that's about it with this interview, but let's see what else we found. No, I do not know the extent. Hamaguchi says Midgar will actually be playable in FF7 Revelation. Then Famiko asked if deep ground characters such as Wasanira will appear. Hamaguchi says, while exploring Midgar, you may indeed encounter those characters, so I hope you look forward to it. I do not know the extent of how much of Midgar will be playable. Yeah, good. That's an interesting note. Hamaguchi says Midgar areas will be explorable in this game, so I assume it will be Shinra building, Sector 7 slums, places you see in cutscenes from Doja Cerberus opening, and OGFF7. Yeah, like in the original, you only go to the slums and to the train tracks. So don't expect to see all of Midgar in this game, right? Like we got in Remake. It's not going to be all of Midgar. FF7 Revelation and Rebirth director Hamaguchi confirms the areas in Rebirth will be accessible, but the terrain has changed. Okay, I'm looking for things that were not in the Den Famika interview. Everything leads here. I'm curious about where is here. The Japanese also says here, but where exactly is that? Livestream? Northern Crater? Very intriguing. Okay, here's another interview with Famitsu. Let's see if he says anything different there. FF7 Revelations embodies the proposition of uncovering the truth for the entire FF7 series, Tetsuya Nomura. That theme is determination. There is only one ending, but the experience leading up to it changes depending on the player's determination, and the where fit system includes growth elements. Interview with director Hamaguchi. On June 6th at Summer Game Fest, the final installment was revealed. Yeah, okay, let's jump into the interview immediately. Okay, let's just do bullet points. Alright, let's do the whole interview. The title Revelation directly expresses the position. The title Revelation implies that hidden truths are revealed, which is a very fitting title for the conclusion of the story. We had several title ideas, but ultimately Tetsuya Nomura decided on Revelation. I think it's a word that has been used relatively often in previous entertainment works, but Nomura probably thought it would be better to use something that is somewhat easy to understand. It's a word that directly expresses the position of the third installment. What truth will be revealed, including the ending of the story? Received the following comment from Tetsuya Nomura regarding the title. Those who have followed the first two installments of the FF7 Remake series are probably curious about the deepening mysteries. However, there are still mysteries left unsolved in the original FF7 as well. All these represent the proposition of unveiling the truth as a FF7 series, created director Tetsuya Nomura. Was it decided from the beginning that you would add re after Remake and Rebirth? It was already decided. If we change that, I think it would be surprising, but unless there was a very good reason, I don't think the users would be convinced. As this is the final chapter of a trilogy, I imagine one of the themes was to bring the story to a conclusion, but what other themes or concepts were involved? When creating a game, we choose a clear and easy to understand word to ensure that everyone on the team is on the same page, and in this case, that word was determination. Everything from the story to the game design is based on the word determination. It represents the determination that Cloud and his teammates face as they head towards their final battle, confronting their individual thoughts and resolve. And it also embodies our determination as creators to properly bring this series to a close. The release is scheduled for spring 2027, but was the development schedule planned with the 30th anniversary of FF7, released January 31st, 1997, in mind? It really feels like a coincidence. With a AAA title, especially a trilogy, it's quite difficult to time it to coincide with the 30th anniversary. As we created the roadmap and proceeded with development, we thought that if we worked hard, it might just line up nicely. FF7 Remake was released in April 2020, and FF7 Rebirth was released at the end of February 2024, so all three parts of the trilogy were released in early spring to spring. Was that also a coincidence? It was just a coincidence. I think that releasing large-scale titles in cycles of about 3 to 4 years is good for both the company and the younger creators. In reality, it's tough though. In that sense, I think we were able to keep the development cycle going at a good pace, which is why we ended up releasing them periodically in the spring. The FF7 Remake project is heading towards its final chapter and will be released on multiple platforms: the Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox Series XS, and Microsoft Store on Windows, hereinafter Windows versions. Versions of FF7 Rebirth were released more than 2 years after the PS5 version, but what about FF7 Revelation? Will there be any slight differences in release dates depending on the platform? Oh, come on, we know that. we are planning a simultaneous release on all platforms worldwide. The development team is working together to ensure that everyone who played the Switch 2, Xbox Series or Windows versions can play FF7 Revelation at the same time. The first trailer featured scenes of confronting various gigantic weapons and travelling the world in the high wind, which gave a very impressive sense of scale. It also seems that Midgar, a setting from the past, will appear, which makes me think the file size is going to be enormous. Regarding storage capacity, to be honest, we've been struggling with that all along. We're always careful during development to maintain quality on any platform while keeping the file size as small as possible. With the FF7 Remake series, we don't want to just rehash old ideas, but rather create a completely new gaming experience with each installment. In FF7 Rebirth, we expanded the open world gaming experience, but this time we're going even further, challenging ourselves with an even vaster world where the experience itself changes depending on the player's choices, and we feel like it's coming together in a good way. Very good way. Although it wasn't shown in the video, there was a scene in the final stages of the original where you dive into the sea in a submarine. Not only is the world vast, but it seems like you'll be able to travel across a wide area, both on land, sea, and air, right? This time, in addition to new areas such as Rocket Town and Wutai, the areas that appeared in FF7 Rebirth are not simply the same maps. The terrain has also been changed, reflecting the setting that the revival of the weapons has caused tectonic shifts and other changes. Even the same areas will feel like different spaces compared to the previous game. Also, although I can't go into detail at this stage, in the previous game the Chocobo's abilities differed from area to area. But in FF7 Revelation, you adventure with Pico and the scope of exploration expands as Pico grows. We know all this. For example, in Grasslands, you'll be able to explore not just on a flat plane, but also in a space that includes vertical space. So I think the impression will change significantly. As for the submarine, I can't talk about it in detail yet, but in the remake series, we are proceeding with caution while cherishing the charm of the original. We hope you will look forward to future updates. While the submarine and the whole underwater section will be in the game, I don't think it will be as available as it was in the original. I think it'll be like you go into the submarine, a series of events occurs, you bump into the weapon or something, and the submarine gets destroyed. I don't think you'll have the submarine available at all times. I don't know. My gut tells me that it's going to be a limited time event. Like, it's not going to be always available. So, yeah. I'm glad that they're putting it in, don't get me wrong, but I'm just interested to see more about that segment of the game with the sub. They might do it like, you know, like it was with going into space in the original, where you went into space and then you came back down and that was it. You couldn't go back out into space. So, yeah. Because, you know, limitations and stuff. Like, how many areas do you want them to create? They're already creating air and ground and... Anyway. And, of course, will there be new quests in those previously featured areas? Of course. All the quests and side content within the world map have been completely revamped. With the ability to explore spatially, those who played the previous game will likely be surprised. We hope you'll enjoy discovering new things, such as how you can fly around the grasslands on a chocobo, instead of just walking around as you might have imagined. Can the Highwind travel seamlessly around the world? Yes, in a continuous world where if you go to one end, you'll come out at the other end. There was a scene where you parachuted down from Highwind, like in FF7, the First Soldier. Is that how you launch from Highwind? Oh, I didn't really play the First Soldier. That's right, it's a common trope in recent Battle Royale games, not mentioning Fortnite, but we decided to use parachutes relatively early on. That's because Highwind is incredibly huge. With a realistic scale, the places where you can land are quite limited, so we've figured that descending by parachute would be more dynamic and people who play recent games are probably used to it. So we went in with that design. How do you get back into the Highwind? For convenience, you can fast travel back to your current location. Also, once you've visited a place in Highwind, you can fast travel to it. It would be stressful if you had to use a parachute every time you wanted to return to a town you'd already been to. You will parachute down the first time you visit, so we hope you'll enjoy that exciting experience. But when you're actually playing, it's fun to think about how to get there, whether to go by chocobo since your chocobo is leveled up, or whether it's better to parachute down from here. We encourage you to experiment and find the best mode of transportation for yourself. We also added options to Highwind Travel that allow you to instantly jump into the air from where you're standing. So convenience is constantly improving as we develop. We're giving players the freedom to decide how and where they want to approach things. Is there an interior to explore in the Highwind? Of course we have it prepared. That place is like a portal, or rather a base for Cloud and his crew. Highwind has a flying mode and an indoor mode, and inside the crew is working, and elements collected from various places are displayed so you can enjoy the conversations and the changes in appearance. You'll enter Highwind as part of the story, but we have also created a way for you to feel like returning to Highwind at other times as well. Oh, nice. Are there any other new vehicles besides the Highwind? Buggies won't be appearing this time, but there will be trucks that are similar. Also, Willy, who appeared in Costa del Sol, will be making a reappearance. Who's Willy? Willy, who appeared in Costa del Sol. Why am I drawing a blank? Is it talking about... I think he's talking about the Johnny? Is it talking about Johnny? As for these, they're not so much usable worldwide, but rather limited to specific areas. Basically, you'll be exploring the world map by raising chocobos. However, Rocket Town has a lot of precision machinery, so it wouldn't be realistic to just blast in there on a chocobo, which is why there are signs prohibiting chocobos. In such places, we hope you'll use other means of transportation, such as cars. Dude, what have they done? What have they done? Now let's talk about the battle system. Vincent and Sid will be added as new playable characters in FF7 Revelation. Could you tell us about their respective battle characteristics? Vincent is fairly easy to understand. He normally uses range attacks with the guns, but switches to melee attacks in beast mode, and it feels really satisfying to control him. You can activate and deactivate beast mode freely during battle. Damn, look at this Goliath beast. Oh, what do I do? Look at that. That's epic. Yuffie could also switch between close range and range combat, but Vincent's approach feels even more distinct. I think he's one of the most well-rounded and responsive battle characters in the series. Sid, on the other hand, is a bit more technical, with his attack variations changing depending on button inputs. As a spear user inspired by Dragoon, he excels at aerial attacks and has a variety of powerful techniques. On top of that, he's also good at teleporting and stabbing. Teleporting? And he's skilled at wide area attacks. When you get the hang of it, it feels really satisfying to play with him. What's this little, like, dragon serpent thing? It showed up in the trailer as well. Like, is that it's not Leviathan, it's something else. In the early stages of development, Vincent felt so good to play that the development team gave him a much higher rating than any other new character. We then worked on Sid more, and as a result, he's come up to a pretty good level. I think both of them are characters that players will enjoy playing in battle. Will the character cooperation abilities and synergy system that were introduced in Rebirth be included this time as well? Of course it's in it, and naturally there's also collaboration with Vincent and Sid. The existence of the fit system has also been revealed. We understand that abilities change depending on the outfit, but could you tell us about the intention behind introducing this system and the types of fits available? We knew that players would be dissatisfied if we didn't retain systems from the previous game, including synergy and actions, unless there was a very good reason. On the other hand, we also needed something new, so we discussed with Hiroki Endo, the battle director, what to do with the battle system, which was relatively complete in the previous game. During that discussion, Endo suggested that since the job system is synonymous with Final Fantasy, we should give each character a job. In both the original game and the previous remake series, although you could customize to some extent with materia, Cloud's job was relatively fixed as a warrior and Barrett's as a ranged tank. Indeed, the impression was that the character's individuality in battle didn't change much. The idea started with the thought that it would be interesting if we could, for example, make Cloud capable of fighting with magic, or if a party consisting only of characters who use long-range attacks could still be effective depending on the job formation. Since the role of any character can be redefined, it essentially changes how you form a party. At first we considered having characters change their outfits using something like job materia, but ultimately we decided to create job fits, which is separate from materia. I honestly would have really liked job materia. I would have preferred that. But I know that most people probably won't agree with me because they want to see the customization. They want to see characters changing outfits, right? Make Tifa as revealing as possible. Anyway. Like at this point, just have them running around and fighting Sephiroth and fighting for the planet in bikinis. Clothing allows for more visual changes, doesn't it? How many types of clothing are available? There are 4 types. So in other words, each character can switch between 4 jobs in addition to their normal job. Yes, and Endo was particular about the clothing, so you can get all of it at the same time as unlocking that system. But is there a reason why you deliberately didn't create a game-like mechanism where you have to acquire items one by one to motivate you to progress? It's true that many games have a design where more powerful equipment fight naked. Yeah, I know, right? Don't laugh. There's a lot of mods online that do that. Just if you're willing to look it up. It's true that many games have a design where more powerful equipment becomes available as you progress through the game, but even though it looks like the player is choosing their own equipment, they often end up being guided by the game. Indeed, in the end, you often end up using the powerful equipment you acquired later. This time, we wanted players to choose what jobs they wanted Cloud and his friends to fight in. We had a clear vision from the beginning, so we decided to just put everything out there from the start, allowing users to freely choose connects to the theme of determination. I see. Well, the character's actions change depending on the outfit they use. It's not just the parameters that change. There are also changes to the action, such as an increase in commands. You're no longer restricted by the materia that can be equipped for each outfit, and you can think of it as the addition of skills and abilities that are more tailored to the characteristics of each outfit. Also, while outfits can be expanded by unlocking the skill tree, the growth rate of outfits is shared among all characters. If you raise Cloud's Black Mage outfit and then put the Black Mage outfit on Tifa, you don't need to raise it from scratch. The enhancement status will be carried over. This is another detail that Endo was particular about. This makes it easy to switch between things like, I've been using Tifa as a Black Mage, but maybe I'll try Kate Sith as a Black Mage too. I hope you'll enjoy trying out various combinations and strategizing. By the way, I often fight with Tifa as a Black Mage type, and it's quite fresh and fun. Well, considering that Aerith is no longer in the party, I would use Aerith I would use Tifa as a White Mage. Anyway, since various outfits appeared in Ever Crisis, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of outfits there will be in Revelations. What kind of direction are the outfit designs taking? Regarding the clothing, Nomura supervises and determines the direction. Of course, Nomura supervises, right? Rather than thinking all warriors look like this, we design with the idea of what a warrior Cloud is like and what a warrior Tifa is like. The design direction differs from character to character, not just from outfit to outfit. See, it was what I was saying earlier. It's like the warrior or Black Mage abilities are all standard, but the look, the outfit itself is different from character to character. So you have like 8 different looks. To add a little more about the clothing, all the characters in FF7 are iconic, so I think there will be players who want to change their job but prefer to keep the regular Cloud's appearance. Therefore, there's a character skin function, a function that only changes the appearance of the character, ability, strength, and stats do not change, that allows you to change your job internally while keeping the regular soldier appearance. And as I mentioned earlier, all the fits will be unlocked at the beginning, but skins are prepared to be collected as you travel. So, you get the fits, but you can also get extra skins. Regardless of the gameplay, I think it's important for players to enjoy the appearance, so I hope you will try to find all sorts of outfits. You know what? As I said, I don't think players are interested in outfits. I think they just want to see the characters naked. Anyway, what happens to the appearance of weapons when you change outfits? For example, in the case of Tifa as a Black Mage, will her weapon remain a glove type, or will it become a rod type? The weapons themselves remain the same, but this game actually implements a weapon skinning function, so you can play with weapons that look however you like, regardless of your outfit. The weapons, big monsters, not the swords and all that, also appeared in the video, and compared to the scale of Cloud and his group, the weapons are quite large, so I'm curious to see what kind of battles will take place. In the original FF7 stylized world, no matter how big the opponent was, using a normal battle system didn't feel too out of place. But if we made it realistic, fighting an enemy of that size would probably just result in constantly punching its legs. Die, you! Boop, 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 boop. So some kind of gimmick was necessary, and we added various gimmicks on top of the normal battle system to create battles that are a little different from the usual enemies. This was incredibly difficult, but I hope everyone will pay attention to the battles with the weapons. Those things seem gigantic, man. In FF7 Rebirth, which expanded the world, there were a variety of mini-games available in each area. While there were many things to do, some people might have felt that there were a bit too many. What are your thoughts on that? I was aware of the customer feedback, and it was a difficult decision, but ultimately, since the original game had many mini-games, I felt that the remake series also needed to fulfill that requirement. I love that he's saying it again. I have no intention of deviating from the policy of including plenty of mini-games. Thank you. That being said, I want as many people as possible to be satisfied. In the previous game, I think there were many cases where the game ended before players could fully appreciate the fun of each minigame. On the other hand, Queen's Blood was very popular. After all, I think minigames are more enjoyable when they have a certain depth and volume, so that players can feel themselves improving. Therefore, I aim to design them so that they are not games that can be finished in a short time, but rather games that can be played for a long time while players can feel themselves improving. Aha. Well, that's new. Interesting. What about the opinion that having to play minigames of genres that players are not good at is a hurdle to overcome in order to progress in the game? Since everyone has different dislikes, I think that with a lot of minigames, there will inevitably be some that you dislike. I don't think that can be prevented. So this time, we've made it possible to set the difficulty level for the minigames. Furthermore, if you fail, you can skip it and move on. If you're not good at minigames, please feel free to skip them and enjoy the story. So there are also safety nets in place. In Queen's Blood, which you mentioned earlier, is Queen's Blood also included in FF7 Revelations? Of course it's included! Not only the story, but we've also made new expansions to the gameplay. I can't go into details right now, but it's turned out really well and it's incredibly fun. Woo! More Queen's Blood! Since this is the final chapter, I think many fans are hoping for some kind of extra content, like the Knights of the Round. I love that people want extra content, but they don't want mini-games. It's like... the strongest summon in FF7 from the original game. Can we expect something like that? I was recently asked about the Knights of the Round by someone from the overseas media. I think that if we didn't include those elements in this remake of FF7, which is the final installment, people would be disappointed, so we've included them as much as possible. See, it's not going to be a summon, it's going to be something else. Are there any other new elements that you can reveal at this stage? This time, we've changed the game experience itself. While there have always been elements where character reactions change depending on your choices, in FF7 Revelations, we've made it so that your choices result in different game experience. The main storyline won't change, so you can rest assured about that. But we want you to enjoy the changes in your individual experience as the story progresses towards its conclusion. In FF7 Rebirth, the Gold Saucer Gondola event changed depending on something like character affinity. Is it something like that? That's right. However, in FF7 Rebirth, the accumulation of affection points influenced events. But in FF7 Revelation, the experience diverges immediately after you make a choice. The way you complete quests, the events you see, and even the overall flow of gameplay can all change. So the system is designed to make choices carry more weight. Yes, this relates to the determination concept I mentioned earlier. We wanted to create a game experience where the player's decisions at key points would lead to changes in the gameplay. I think you could say that the fit system also leaves the decision of what kind of job configuration the player will take on the challenge to the player. So it seems that the user's decisions will be one of the key points this time around. That's right. Of course, after clearing FF7 Revelations, you'll be able to select chapters, so I hope you'll try out any branching paths that caught your interest after you've finished. Oh, okay, so you won't actually have to play the full game again. I forgot about the chapter selection. So you can just go back to the chapter, change your choice, and then see what happens. The ending of the story isn't left up to the player's judgment, is it? It's not a multi-ending game. It focuses on a single, well-defined ending. While there's only one ending, the experience of getting there will vary from player to player. I am both excited and anxious about the reaction, but I'm sure you'll be satisfied. Finally, do you have a message for readers who are looking forward to the release? Nearly 6 years have passed since the release of FF7 Remake in 2020, and we've reached the point where it will be completed in 7 years. From our perspective, as developers, it's been over 10 years. I'm happy that we can finally see the end in sight, but I also feel a sense of sadness that it's coming to an end. As mentioned in the interview, the theme of FF7 Revelation is determination. This time we've embodied that determination in a game where the player's choices directly reflect in their experience. Just as Cloud and the others make their resolve for the final battle, we've aimed to design the game so that the player's own judgment changes the experience at that moment. I myself am approaching development with the utmost determination to deliver a finale worthy of this remake series. I would be very happy if you would play it. Woo! Oh, nice image. Buster Sword and everything. Okay, cool. Oh, look at this. Seeing the FF7 Remake series official art side by side like this, it's very interesting that the trilogy happens on layers. Underground beneath Midgar, ground level in the open world, and above the ground towards the sky. The color transition is interesting as well. Look at this. Someone mentioned that they knew, or they could kind of tell that, but we were hoping for blue. This is kind of grey. Or white. Anyway. Rebirth was, like, this image for Rebirth, I love it. Like, it's spectacular. This one's the iconic one, right? For Remake. Where it's green and he's outside a Shinra headquarters. And over here you can see the green sky, kind of, but it also goes red because he's in Nibelheim and he's setting it on fire and all that. And over here it's blue, and you've got Zack, and it's all hopeful. And here the blue transitions to white. One thing can we talk about the scythe? This wing is supposed to be the scythe that, you know, rains down on Aerith. Fit Johnson has skill tree, yep. 7 Revelation. Director Hamaguchi says in an interview with Restart that Chadley's role is a very important part that's related to the main story. He's researching newly awakened weapons and also media too. Okay, I think that's about it from here. Now what we're going to do is, I think we're going to check out the trailers one more time and just sort of like do a little bit of an in-depth analysis. All right, let's turn down let's turn off the music. Not turn down. Let's turn it off. Whoop. And go back and watch the trailers. All right. Oh man, you're looking at all my history. No. Here's the reveal trailer. No. Why is it Arabic? Arabic or whatever. Alright. Time to turn it up. Raising the volume. Okay, but before we raise the volume, let's talk about this. This is the same image from that we saw at the end of FF7 Remake, where near the ending, where Sephiroth shows up to Cloud and he says to him, 7 seconds to the end, or like what is ahead is not yet complete or something like that. He spoke some cryptic nonsense to him. It's called the Edge of Creation. But also some people pointed out that it looks a lot like the shape of it looks a lot like this. Like if you put them side by side, you can tell that Sephiroth is here, and the rest of the group is here, like Aerith and Zack, and Cloud is in front here. Like because of especially the top here, like Aerith, Zack, you know. And that was interesting. That was an interesting point. Anyway, moving on. Like the trailer's just started and we're talking about all the imagery.
A shadow fell upon our planet.
Okay, so I reckon this scene happens. This is at the start of the game. It happens just to show that like meteor is coming down and like the end is approaching. It could happen at the beginning. Could even happen towards the end because meteor might be getting really close to the surface, right? You don't know.
Guided by calamity, one man sought dominion.
This scene is iconic. I don't know who made this cutscene, who directed this. They were insane because like the image of this is like it's literally taken out of like a Christian scripture or something like that. Let's see. Like the color of it, right? Let's see. See, look at this. All this. See, it's like he's up there and everyone's like trying to reach out to him. I've seen a lot of pictures like that. Because you know, when I was younger and I was going to church, right? It was like everyone was reaching out to their savior and trying to, you know. Look, another one. Although this doesn't seem very Christian, but anyway. But even the lighting, right? Look, even the light, like, it seems very similar to these pictures where he's like the angel. And look, this is insane. It seems like in this photo, it seems like he has a single wing, right? Look, that's insane. That is crazy. Look, it seems so similar. This is literally from Bible art. Or another one. This one. Dang. So, yeah, you know what the inspiration was for this. But these guys are the ones, they're the ones in the hood that you see them in both Remake and Rebirth, and they're running along, reunion, saying that all the time. Meanwhile, Sephiroth has taken Cloud. But this happens at the Northern Crater, but I don't know the context of this scene. I feel like I need more context for this scene. Because it's like at the Northern Crater, it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't get that crazy, you know? Anyway, moving on.
Through reunion, by his will.
Look, hang on, if you go back.
One man sought dominion through reunion, by his...
That's Cloud. Over here, he's got Cloud, and Cloud's done at this point. Also, FYI, this is literally the starting point of Revelation. This is literally one of the first points of Revelation.
A star fell. A meteor. called forth to bring ruin to all.
This is the later stages of the game. I'm thinking this must be towards the end. I'm thinking, is this where Weapon attacks the Midgar HQ? Or is this just a random scene where you have them all at Midgar headquarters talking and planning about what they're going to do? I don't know.
But our planet answered.
Again, beginning of the game. Beginning of Revelation, not beginning of OG FF7. This is when Sephiroth, Cloud has given the black materia to Sephiroth, and all hell breaks loose. Sephiroth has summoned Meteor, and all the weapons are coming out.
Mighty weapons to stand against the celestial threat.
Ultima.
Now, hope.
Wait. Let's just go here. I literally opened like five YouTube windows. Anyway. All right, let's see. Okay, the graphics are a little bit messed up, but this is literally what we just saw. If it looked good back then, oh boy. So, yep, here are the weapons. Literally what we just saw, right? Boop, there's the hand. Okay, this has been touched up from the OG, but they look like goddamn Pokemon, like Reshiram. Off he goes. Ruby, there's Ruby, which we'll see later. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's go back to the other one. This is a northern crater.
Those who fight.
Again, opening stages.
Long story short, the world's in trouble. It has been
This
for
looks
a while.
amazing.
So what are we waiting for? Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
Whoa, sorry. I just want to go back.
Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
Look, you can see here, Cloud's not here. Like, Cloud has fallen into the live stream. Cloud's either that or he's in Mideel or something. But if he was in Mideel, Tifa wouldn't be there. So, yeah, this is where Cloud fell into the live stream and they can't find him. It's horrifying. He's like, no, I'm not going to use I didn't need to use my hands. I know you're seeing Cloud there, but that's actually later. Okay, wait, this is a grasslands. I'm thinking this is the grassland because you can see here, this is a Chocobo Ranch, I'm thinking. This is Gongaga, although changed Gongaga, right? So it's what Hamaguchi said, like because of the weapons are changing the area, like they're shifting the tectonic plaques or whatever, and they're changing the areas. Like this is Gongaga, but it's not the same as what it was in Rebirth. Wutai, your first look at Wutai. Woo! And you can see the first of all, you can see the turtle here. A happy turtle. And you can also see how heavily influenced how heavily influenced the architecture is from the east, from our world, right? From like China or Japan. It reminds me of an area of FF14. Well, technically Wutai came before that, but it reminds me of an area of FF14. FF14 Storm Cloud main hub. What was it called? No. Kugane. Kugane, this one. The cities are very similar. The architecture is very similar, not the cities. Anyway.
You're mine.
Hey, Vincent. Seeing how he switches from Glide Beast.
Make this quick.
So you can see, even though he's got the gun, he's up close and he's punching and kicking.
Night.
I don't know what that is.
The sky's the limit.
This
I don't know.
quick.
I don't know what this is. Like, it's like, what?
Good night.
The sky's the limit.
And then you got Sid. What's that serpent? That's not Leviathan.
I can do this. I'll make you
This
proud.
Tifa's fit. And Cloud's fit.
Just ain't your day.
But someone mentioned...
Proud.
Wait.
Just ain't your...
So look at the Buster Sword. It's red. Someone mentioned, and that was a good pickup, that Cloud's Buster Sword is red because he's implemented the black materia into it. So he's using magic that he shouldn't be using. Although, counter-argument to that is that by this point of the game, he's probably already given the black materia to Sephiroth.
Day.
Oh my. Is that a weapon?
Okay,
I see.
this weapon is one of those that are free roaming the map. It's one of the smaller ones, and it's not one of the weapons that are important to the story.
As I can tell, these things don't distinguish between friend and foe.
Save the planet by killing.
We saw them in Rebirth. That
And foe.
Mother of God.
Planet by killing her protectors.
Mother of God. So you can see, okay, I hadn't noticed the area. You can see it is actually in the desert as it was in the OG. It pops up in in the Corel area, in the Corel region. So this is Ruby weapon. This is an image that in our childhood gave us nightmares. We couldn't sleep because of this, because we saw it as a tiny little thing in the sand, and when we approached it with a high wind, it would just pop up and become this thing, and then just immediately give us a game over. So yeah, that's meet Ruby weapon, everyone. The terror of the desert, the terror of the sand. Yeah, this thing is huge. It's terrifying. It's unstoppable. I wonder if they created, when they first created like the map for Corel, I wonder if they created it with keeping Ruby weapon in mind, like thinking that eventually we're going to have a big red monster roaming the area. They probably did. Look at it. It is hideous. You are a beast. This is Ultima weapon. This weapon roams the skies and destroys everything that it can get its hands on. In the original Final Fantasy VII, we had to defeat this one to get our hands on Cloud's ultimate weapon, which ironically is called Ultima weapon. It destroys Mideel, and it throws Cloud and Tifa into the life stream, among other things, and almost kills them. He looks friendly, doesn't he?
Let us put your...
This is inside the Highwind. I don't know where. And you can hear the first lines of Travis Willingham as Sephiroth. It's a bit heavier. It's a bit more rough. Whereas I felt that Tyler Hoechlin's Sephiroth he had that sort of feminine tone. He gave Sephiroth a feminine tone.
Faith to the test. Cloud.
Although when he says Cloud, it's very similar to...
Let us put your faith to the test. Cloud.
When he says Cloud, it's very similar to Hodgson. And
Cloud.
And here we have Sephiroth holding the white materia, which I don't know why. Also, it's flashy, so you might be thinking it's like Thingo. Might be a separate reality or a separate timeline. I don't know. And here we have our title. So what I love about that is that, look, it's the soft kind of green, the very, very light kind of green with the title, and it's round and it's giving white materia, right? It's like this kind of coloring. It makes me think of Holy, right? It makes me think of when Holy makes its appearance at the end of the OGFF7. Let's look at that. Mm. Matt, you don't have the ending? Okay, he doesn't have the ending. So, yeah, this is what it reminds me of. Look, it's that same color. It's literally that. Because it's what comes out of the white materia, right?
Never would have made it this far without you guys.
I love these lines.
And I won't let you down. I promise.
Also.
Never would have made it this far without you guys.
This flower, what does it remind you of? Is it the flower that Aerith gave to Cloud when they first met? Is it? Just thinking. And these lines were perfectly voiced by Cody Christian. Who are like, yes, it might be Cloud talking to his teammates, but it also felt like a bit of a personal message from Cody Christian towards the fan base, and he also tweeted about it online, so that was really nice.
And I won't let you down. I promise.
It's like he's saying that, like, I know how heavy this role is, and I know how important it is to everyone, and thank you for your support also, and I'm not gonna, your expectations, I'm gonna try and live up to them. Spring 2027?
Last, the promise is fulfilled. The journey ends here.
All right, let's do something nice. Let's do something else nice. Where was it? Where's the one that's got like 16 million views?
Brings. It may be union at the reunion at hand may bring joy. It may bring fear. But let us embrace whatever it brings.
Okay.
For they are coming back. At last, the promise has been made.
Okay, and then you go here.
The journey, at last.
I promise.
At last, the promise is fulfilled. The journey ends here.
And by the way, he wasn't the character in the game. He didn't voice anyone. Like, I know him as the voice of Jiraiya in Naruto, but like, he literally didn't voice anyone. So the fact that they kept him around just so he could say that 10 years later, like, that's amazing. Like, that first trailer came out at E3 2015. It came out 10 years ago.
And now, like, he says that line. He's like, that is amazing. That is incredible. Okay, let's check out the gameplay. But still, like, that is like the cherry on top. There's a freaking so touching. Okay.
Long story short, the world's in trouble.
Weapon, yes, we've
So
seen
what
that.
are we waiting for? Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
It's not a lot of new stuff. Okay. So this is, let's see the whole
As we
thing.
reunite with our heroes, the meteor looms in the skies above.
This is literally, as I've said multiple times, it's after the events at the Northern Crater. It's still the opening parts of Revelation. It's at the Northern Crater after the group has been captured by Shinra, everyone except for Cloud. Tifa wakes up in this room. You can see behind her with all the equipment, and yeah, she wakes up. She's like, "What's going on? What's happening?" And I think Barrett is with
our
her.
heroes, the meteor looms
And she
in
sees
the
that.
skies above, a constant reminder of your.
She sees that, and she's like, "What?" And Barrett says, "Yeah, we've got like a week or two. Your boyfriend did a pulled a funny one on us."
mission, and the grave threats you'll confront.
I think, I don't know where this is from, but looking at Rufus with a mic, he'll probably, I'm thinking that this wasn't part of the original, but he'll probably make a statement to everyone, trying to reassure them that Shinra's going to do whatever they can for the situation, and we've apprehended the criminals, the ones responsible for the situation, which is Avalanche. Of course, he's going to blame it on Avalanche, and we are going to execute them today live on TV for everyone to see. So yeah,
As you embark upon your journey and face
I don't know
the
what
epic
Hojo's doing there.
conclusion.
I never know what Hojo's doing there. This is again Northern Crater. Sephiroth is trying to, I don't know, he's so creepy, man. Look how creepily he's holding his hand and he's holding his head. He's like, come on, boy. You know where we're going. But yeah, you can see from the black smoke behind him that they're at the Northern Crater, and this is probably where he starts talking to him about the past and do you really know who you are and do you really know what's going on? And he's going to start talking to him about the Nibelheim mission and you weren't really there and all that.
Of the remake series. Aboard the Highwind, your
Let's steal it. Nice airship. Let's steal it.
very own airship and
Literally.
the pride of the Shinra fleet. You'll take to the
Oh,
skies
there's the girl.
and witness our most
Okay.
expansive open world yet. From the outskirts of Midgard to the sun-drenched Medeal archipelago.
He says that's Medeal. I keep thinking that's Gongaga. But anyway, the two are similar.
To the warrior nation of Wutai.
Mhm.
Simply pick a direction,
That is eerily similar to the original.
set sail.
The
But how
Highwind.
can you be expected to protect the whole world at once? You'll need to cover ground fast.
I am not jumping. No way, no how.
Don't worry. These parachutes are top of the line. Pull the cord and pop. You'll be floating through the air like a feather.
At any moment in
Look
the
at her go.
open world, simply pilot the Highwind to your destination and take a leap of faith.
Whee!
Wind rushing past, you'll descend seamlessly from the sky above to the
Medeal. Sorry, Medeal. This is Medeal.
ground below. Where will the winds guide you first?
Where is this? Come on. I have no idea. What are they protecting? What are they barricading? Shinra's barricading something. Could this be the I don't know. I'm thinking it might be the dig site. I'm thinking it might. But anyway.
That freedom is in your hands.
Good time.
But no matter your destination, to defeat
Happy
your enemy, you'll need a
turtle.
fighting chance. And that
This
starts.
is later on in the game. I'm thinking it's at the party's return to Midgar, where they go and try and stop Hojo from powering up. Sephiroth at the Northern Crater. But they don't fight the Turks there. So maybe Rufus is just trying to be all cool and stuff and like, oh, hey, you know what? We're standing down. We've had enough.
With your trusted allies. At long last, with the world
Northern
teetering
Crater
on a
again.
blade's edge, everyone assembles.
I love the design though. Look how...
At long last,
Look how
with the world
incredible this is.
teetering on a blade.
Like, if we hadn't come to expect this level of quality of design from them, like, if this was 2020, I'd be losing my mind. Like, you would be seeing me screaming in front of a stream right now. But, I don't know, I feel like a remake and Rebirth have spoiled us a bit. Like, honestly, look at this. It's otherworldly. It has this otherworldly essence. It's like the Northern Lights or something. And yeah, and you also have the crystal... taking a, it's got a little bit of a FF16 kind of mystique to it, doesn't it? Isn't it cool that Square Enix has all these teams that can work together and borrow assets from one another?
Edge. Everyone assembles.
Speaking of which, this looks gorgeous and all that, but it still doesn't look visually. It's nowhere near the level of FF16, right? Visually.
Cloud side, forming an epic ensemble of heroes.
Is this inside the Highwind? Are they just sitting there chatting? I can't tell.
Each with their own story.
This seems like... Again, she seems like she's back at the Nibelheim reactor.
Brings you closer together than ever.
Where are they going? Junon. This is Junon. Sid and Vincent, I think, are going to have their own little mission in Junon because... in the original, you don't actually see them or what they do in Junon. You only see what's happening from the perspective of Tifa, Kate Sith and Barrett, and Yuffie, I think. But you don't actually see what's happening with Vincent and Sid. So what's really cool here is that they've added a perspective of Sid and Vincent from the events of Junon, which again is early on in the game. And that's really cool. You get to do a little side mission, a little stealth mission where you go and you steal the Highwind. Oh, I love that. I love that. Because it is main story stuff, but it's stuff that we haven't seen.
But a good unit.
Northern
Crater.
Crater.
More than friendship to save the day.
Where's Cloud? What's Cloud doing? We need to go save him.
Disciplined combat regimen.
The
hybrid battle system established in Remake.
That looks like a new ability for Yuffie.
Is perfected in Revelation, putting even more power in
synergy
your hand.
For Sid and Tifa.
Real-time action, seamlessly switch between party members to even the odds. Then,
okay, we know that. We've seen that in Rebirth.
Enter tactical mode to unleash a
There's
suite
Cloud.
of powerful new spells.
So it's like you have all the old abilities, right? From Remake and Rebirth, you have everything. So like nothing's gone. So like the fit system isn't replacing anything. It's just coming in and it's buttoning in.
And abilities. Activate devastating synergy.
Just FYI, I'm not going to be using the fit system that much. Unless it's really good. I want to maintain my own, like, I want to have full control over the battle system. Like, what materia am I going to use? What abilities am I going to use? What items am I going to use? Although, you know, if you're playing on hard mode, you probably don't get a lot of items. They also have the, I saw in the trailer, you can also create your own items again. What was that system called? I don't remember.
Energies with your companions. And of course,
you saw it. You saw it.
Spells and abilities. Activate devastating synergies with your companions.
Three summons. Cloud has 3 summons. That's 1 character, 3 summons. Magic Pot is new. Also, oh look, next to each summon down here, it shows you there's an element of what each summon can do, right? So Magic Pot heals. It's the little heart is a heal. Ifrit, I don't know what that means, but maybe it's an AoE, and maybe Titan is a like direct attack towards one enemy. So summons do different things. Cool. They've expanded on the summons too.
And of course, call on mighty summoned entities that can turn the tide of battle.
Yeah, do it, Ifrit. Brr. After 3 games, it's still so cool to summon Ifrit. Matthew was right. Where is this? It's still at the Northern Crater. Nothing's changed. We're still seeing the opening sections.
until we've put Sephiroth in his.
Vincent is a deft gunslinger, capable of delivering precise, high-yield shots. But there's more to this secretive former Turk.
Everything that we're seeing is from the opening areas of the game, right? Story-wise.
And meets the eye. The result of experimentation at the hands of Shinra. Vincent meets the eye. The result of experimentation at the...
Look, up here. The statues. Remember the Gojo statue? Godo? I don't remember the name, but like you can see the Wutai statues up here. Awesome little touch.
Hands of Shinra. Vincent can transform into the Galleon Beast at the press of a button.
I keep calling it the Galion Beast.
Power while transformed. And when combined with the skills
I'm
of a
wrong,
certain
aren't I?
ace pilot, their high-impact synergies disrupt the fight with ferocious results.
The Leaping Lancer, the Dashing Dragoon, the one and only Sid Highwind.
Sid Highwind, the cantankerous...
By the way, that scene is just going to go by unnoticed. Like, you're going to hear, like, crickets when he says that.
Pilot extraordinaire joins the party and their mission to defeat Sephiroth. Sid's command of his lance allows him to rapidly close the distance for powerful strikes, or engage in sweeping area of effect attacks to bring a whole host of enemies to heel. But to fully control the...
What is he wearing? I think this is literally where you unlock the fits inside the High. This seems like you're inside the Highwind. Like you can see the data center behind and all that. So, yeah.
Battlefield. Skill with a weapon only gets you so far. To further augment your combat capabilities, try this on for size. Function Integrated Tactical Suitwear, or the FITS system for short, allows you to further customize
Very technologically
your playstyle with
advanced.
new uniforms imbued with unique movesets. Alongside your equipment and materia, FITS gives you an extra edge in battle. And to face what's coming, you'll need all the strength you can muster.
Oku?
Sensing its fate hanging in the balance, the planet itself has unleashed its last line of defense. The weapons. Ancient beasts that are larger than life and capable of untold destruction. Will you be enough to stop them before it's too late? As the world is torn apart, you and your friends must unite. In Revelation, we come to the thrilling conclusion of the Final Fantasy VII saga. Revelation, world is
I'm
torn
skipping.
apart. Will be enough to stop.
So, barricade. This looks like Gongaga, actually. I keep saying Gongaga, thinking it might appear. This might be something between Gongaga and Mideel.
Than life and capable of untold destruction. Will you be enough to stop them before it's too late?
Are you? I'm trying to see if there's a Mako reactor behind here. If there is, it's definitely Gongaga. But there isn't, so it might be Mideel.
The world is torn apart. You and your friends must...
What's that? I couldn't tell what area that was.
In Revelation,
This is
we come
Wutai.
to the thrill...
Fat Chocobo. I don't know what area this is.
conclusion.
Okay, now this is a mini game they've added. It's again in Junon, where Tiff has been arrested and she's being set for execution by Shinra. This is at the same time of the weapon attack on
The Final
Junon.
Fantasy VII saga, and your mission is clear.
Look.
Take up your Buster Sword. Equip...
What's this all about? I can't tell where this might be. No idea.
Pure materia.
All this, I've been seeing this a lot. This is snowy, so it might still be in the opening section, like the Mount Gaia. Just a little bit before Cloud jumps on the snowboard, or something like that. You can see all the characters here.
And stand together. It's clear. Take up your Buster Sword. Equip your materia.
Yeah, she was there.
And stand together. One.
And here's
last.
Genova. I'm thinking that Genova fight might actually happen in the Northern Crater, just to give you a sense of urgency of like, there's a major event happening, right? So it's like you might be looking at this thinking, oh, it's the final battle with Genova. No, it's one of the first.
Time.
Oh, pickle!
These skies belong to
That
me.
was Mideel. This is Wutai. This is Junon. I don't know what that is. Ah, missed it. Like, you can see the high... that is definitely the high wind. First of all, I did not know that the high wind had firing capabilities or that it had laser weapons on it. So, I don't know what this scene is from, firstly. Secondly, what's that dome it's firing? I can see that it has a fin here. So, I'm thinking this is the scene at Midgar, where the weapon starts walking towards Midgar, and they're like, all right, let's try and stop it. Let's use the high wind to stop it, because in the original, you don't use the high wind. You just get off and you wait for it on the shore, and it shows up, and you'll just have a team of 3 little people fighting against a huge colossal beast. So in this game, maybe they're changing it. Maybe they're saying, all right, so they use the high wind to fire at it, stop it from going towards Midgar. They fail, and it fires, or succeed, or whatever. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This is just Cloud losing his mind at the Northern Crater. Like, all of that, if you've played Remake and Rebirth, you've probably been seeing Cloud going like, oh no, and the screen shaking. All of that is going to come to a head at literally the start of Revelation. And that's literally at the Northern Crater. Or, not the Northern Crater. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Northern Cave, Northern Crater. Whatever. And that's a scene we're about to see. Alright, let's go see that scene. Where can we see it? Okay, let's open this somewhere else. Okay. Chill out.
Long ago.
Let's see, do they have it here? Here it is. Okay, it's not in the best quality, but because it's been ripped from Summer Game Fest rather than being a full-on trailer. So that's another weapon. Weapons are going to be one of the main threats in the game. It's like receiving a kiss from your mother-in-law. Whoop. Bloody impressive though, right? Alright, let me just show you what we saw. This is literally what we just saw. Hey, Wolfheart, welcome in. Thank you. I hope you saw it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. We were just doing a breakdown of the trailers and all the new information we got. So he's Heidegger yelling, "Get the cannon ready! Fire!" Whee! So you can feel the suspense. Did you notice that's not what happened here? The weapon gets decapitated. Yeah, I did. And there's going to be like changes here and there. But like, as I mentioned, here they fired initially and they didn't get it. So, you know. I don't know. Maybe they have to fire a second time or... Because, you know, I imagine they showed us that on purpose. But you are right to point that out. Whoop! Weapon approaching! It's heading toward us! We hit it head on! Also, Heidegger was in the trailer, but Rufus wasn't there. Ooh, here it comes. Big boy. I can't believe they made it even scarier than this version right here, right? You think they can't make it look more freaky looking, and yet they succeeded. Kudos. Bang. That's some heavy artillery. It's attacking! Like, for back then, this was breakthrough technology. Like, groundbreaking technology. It's coming! Bang! Just bangs its head. Oh, come on. Okay, this is where we left off. That was lucky. And so you got Tifa in there as well. Oh no, there was so much tension in the OG. I know, right? I hope they can recreate that sensation. Yeah. It was intense. Because back then you didn't know what was happening, right? It was unfamiliar. Like you saw this massive thing attacking you, like, what the hell is going on? What even is this thing? Whereas now you're sort of expecting it. Come on, show me the attack. I don't want to see the minigame. I want to see the attack. Whoa, here we go. Look at this. Here we go. Again, I can't believe it looks nastier in the remake, in the remade version. Dang, son. He's going for a second round. I love that he just stands in front of the cannon. Yeah, you're right. They missed in the trailer. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway. Bloom. Alright, let's leave it at that. Anyway. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got. Pretty much all the new information that we've seen. Yeah. So, I don't know. I hope you're as excited as I am. I hope you're as hyped as I was by the announcement the other day and by all the news that we're getting. As Desert Loner pointed out, it won't be that long until we hear more information about this game, which will be at Gamescom opening night live. Not definite, we haven't heard anything about it, but it will probably be there on August 25th. So until then, you know, we'll just have to be a bit more patient. But compared to the patience we've shown up to this point, that's nothing, literally. And we'll be hearing a lot more about it. I'm mid-hyped. They madame tired. They made you tired. Really? So you feel like exhausted? You feel like it's all too drawn out? That is that makes sense. That makes sense. Like I can understand that you're pretty much like you're pretty much feeling that, you know, once the game comes out, you'll play it then, and until then you probably be like, you know, when the information comes out, I might hear it, but you know, I'm not holding my breath for it. Besides, this is the third time we're going through this same routine, and I can imagine that a lot of people are feeling the drawback, the kickback. I'm worried about outfits and job system that has nothing to do with FF7. Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, I'm not too keen about that whole thing, but it's optional. You know, I'm not really going to use it. They already have their own jobs. Well, see, that's the thing. That's why they're introducing it. It's like they said that in the interviews, Hamaguchi said that because it felt like they were too restrained, the characters were too restrained, like Cloud felt like he's only an attacker, and Barrett felt like he's a long-range tank and things like that. They wanted to sort of like give them the ability to branch out, or give players the ability to branch them out. And it's there, and if you want to use it, you can use it. And if not, I mean, like, for example, I felt like that with the outfits in Rebirth. I didn't like the outfits, so I just didn't use them. I never used them. I just let the characters wear what they're supposed to wear, what they're wearing in this awesome image, because I felt that's what they're supposed to wear. But yeah, I can understand if you have a little bit of hesitance with what they're introducing and you feel like it's alienating, it's branching off too much from the original. I get that. But, you know, from their perspective, I feel like they're trying to incorporate elements that will make the experience more fresh. Like, I don't know if you heard the other thing, Wolfheart, that they're doing is that they're making the story experience different depending on which character you choose to go with, or which choices you choose as you head towards the end of the story. So you'll see different cutscenes each time. I just hope I won't be forced to use it like part of the new comp. No, you can just go with your own materia, your own weapons, your own whatever. So yeah, as I was saying, they're going to introduce the new, it looks like what they do with Ever Crisis. No, I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think it's going to be like that. You can customize up to a certain point, and even after those 4 fits, you can also have other outfits which have nothing to do with battle and just for customization purposes. So they're just trying to make it as fun as possible for people who like to branch out and who enjoy the variety. Anyway, so what I was saying about the story is that you'll have the ability to view different cutscenes as you go along, as you make different choices in the story, in the dialogue and all that. So it'll branch out, and it'll branch out a lot. So what that means is that it'll give you the potential to play it multiple times to experience different cutscenes. So what I was thinking about that is that it might actually unlock you from certain cutscenes and force you to go back and keep playing it over and over again. I'm sad it's canon. Well, Ever Crisis? You're sad Ever Crisis is canon? Well, I mean, it doesn't change the story though, does it? It just introduces stuff. It just brings... Because when we played the OG FF7, we didn't know about Sephiroth's past, did we? We just knew that... The only things we knew about Sephiroth is that he was a hero in the Wu-Tai War, which we knew absolutely nothing about, that found out about his past, about how he was created, and lost his mind. And that's where it cut off. So now what they've done is, without changing anything from the original, they've just come in and they just said, look, here's some more about Sephiroth's past, about his childhood and all that. So yeah, as long as it doesn't change a lot of the original experience, I'm okay with it. Yeah. But anyway, what I was saying is that Revelation might force you to play it, or it might lock you out of important cutscenes, depending on choices you make, and it might force you to go back and play it again and again and again to see those cutscenes. But anyway, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm excited for it. I'm hyped for it. I hope that, when it comes out, as many people as possible can share in that hype, or if not, that's what gaming is for. That's what we all enjoy. Each person has their own game that they're hyped for, and yeah, that's what we're all here for. Anyway, I think I'm going to do a recording tomorrow of my reaction to the Xbox showcase. I'm not going to be able to watch it live because that goes on at 3 a.m. I'm just going to try to avoid social media. I'm sure Knights of the Round is going to be a joke. I don't think Knights of the Round is going to be a summon, from what I've read from Hamaguchi's interviews, they're going to introduce it in an alternative method. It's not going to be a summon. Because can you imagine 13 characters running around along with your other 3 characters on the same battlefield? It's going to be a nightmare. I don't know. It's going to have an alternative presence. Like, you might have to meet 13 knights and get some sort of power from them to defeat Sephiroth. I don't know. This is me spitballing here. It's not going to be the same, though. Yeah. But anyway. As I was saying, and I'm not sure Omni Slash makes sense now. The cloud slashes through the air like he does. Yeah, of course it does. I mean, haven't you seen Advent Children? Of course it does. I mean, that's literally how he does it. I mean, it's called Octaslash now. Like, it's a different limit break, but still. I mean, I guess we're going to have to wait and see about how all these different elements are introduced. They're not going to leave anything out. That's the one thing that Hamaguchi has pointed out in the interview. They're not going to leave anything out. No important elements from the main story, from the original story. So it's just how they're going to show them, how they're going to introduce them. That's the main question. We're just going to have to wait and see. I mean, and of course, some people aren't going to like them, right? And that's understandable. No one can agree on everything, right? But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I appreciate the fact that they're putting their all into it, and they're doing as much as they humanly can to bring this game back that was originally developed back in 1997 to bring it to all modern consoles. And like now I can't wait to see how they handle the submarine. Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. And while he has mentioned, I don't think we're going to have the submarine throughout the entire game. It is going to be there. He has confirmed that it's going to be there. I don't know what's going to happen. It'll be creepy AF to see the weapon underwater, to bump into that weapon underwater. Not looking forward to it, but yeah. All those different elements and all those different things that made the OG Final Fantasy VII the great game that it is, they're all going to be there. They're all going to be there. But we're just going to have to wait and see in what way they're going to be there. We're also going to get more Zack than we got in Rebirth. So yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to head out now because I want to get to bed as quickly as possible so I can wake up early in the morning and watch the Xbox Live Showcase and do a reaction for you as well if you want to see that later. And yeah, I hope if you do get to watch it live, you enjoy it. And I'll see you when I see you. I don't know when I'm going to do the next live stream for Crimson Desert. We do need to get back to Crimson Desert. Maybe Tuesday. I think Tuesday. Yeah, the 9th. All right. And I'll see you then. Anyway, that's about it from me. Have a great night. See ya.